The rain has cleared, and it's almost time for baseball in Northeast Ohio as the Evansville Otters finally conclude their 6-game road trip against the Lake Erie Crushers. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Avon, Ohio on the shores of Lake Erie, just outside of beautiful Cleveland. We've had rain and thunderstorms throughout the day, but we are 10 minutes away from a now hour pushback first pitch of 8:05 local time here in Cleveland. Griffin Epstein joining you on the Otters Digital Network and simulcast as well on Flow Sports with our excellent Crusher production team. Otters trying to finish this road trip off on a good note. It's been an unusual over 48 hours off for Evansville as these two teams last played July 4th, an afternoon game. Lake Erie took the second game of the series 4-2 after dominating the Otters 6-0 in game number 1. A lot of time off for both of these teams. The Otters coming off two of their worst offensive performances of the year, hoping that the time off will wake up the bats this evening, and Evansville hoping for a win tonight to avoid their first sweep of the year to the hands of the Crushers. So quick recap on the first two games of the week. The Otters offense, as we said, no way around to put it. It was just bad offense for the Otters the first two games of the series. They were shut out on Monday evening in front of a sellout crowd, just 4 hits, no runs. And on Tuesday, well, they did score 2 runs to tie the game in the 6th, just 3 hits. And Lake Erie in a pitcher's duel would score 2 in the 7th on a 2 RBI base hit by Jack Harris to win it for Lake Erie 4-2 on Tuesday. So this is just the third time the Otters playing in a game where they are trying to avoid a sweep. They're 2-0 so far in those kind of games where they dropped the first 2 games of a series and then won the third game, wins against Quebec and Schaumburg. It's time to meet the starting lineups for tonight. We'll start with the Otters. Noah Myers, the left fielder, leads things off for Evansville. Kona Quiggle bats second and plays center field. Dakota Phillips bats third and DHs. Yomar Reyes will be in the cleanup spot and play third base. John Dyer bats fifth and plays first base. George Khalil will bat sixth and play shortstop. Bottom 3 in the lineup, Damian Yenzi, the second baseman, makes his professional debut. Jake Green bats 8th and will catch, and Brian Rosario rounding out the lineup and playing right field for the Otters. That's the starting 9 for Evansville. Good to see Dakota Phillips in the starting lineup. Got hit in the head by a ball catching on Tuesday afternoon. Went through some tests to make sure he was all good to go, and he's all healthy and ready to play today. The Otters still without Ethan Skinder, so they will have Yenzi make his professional debut at second base. Yenzi just signed on Monday by the Otters. John Vargas, the righty, will make the start for Evansville. Vargas 4-3 on the year with a 3.52 ERA. He started this road trip for the Otters pitching last Friday against Joliet. Suffered the loss there and allowing 4 total runs. Now he will finish this road trip here in a rain-delayed game in Avon. On the other side for Lake Erie, they're starting 9. Crushers 20-27 on the year. Todd Isaacs Jr., the DH, leads things off for Lake Erie. Jack Harris bats second and plays right field. Jared Watkins will bat third and play shortstop. Kemble Thomas Rivera in the cleanup spot and playing at second base. Zach Racusin bats fifth and plays left field. Keenan Irizarry is the third baseman, and he bats sixth. Jackson Pritchard bats seventh and catches. Josh Rego batting eighth and playing first base. And Drew Galassi rounds out the lineup, playing center field for the Crushers. Lake Erie, 2 big wins for them. They had lost 6 series in a row until this week, but winning the first 2 games over the Otters, and they're looking for a big sweep in some Frontier League West standings that at the bottom half have all of a sudden gotten all squished together. Lake Erie entered the week in last place. The Crushers, with a win today, could be as high as tied for 4th after starting the week alone in 8th place in the Frontier League West. How about that for Lake Erie? So they have some momentum they're trying to build as they work their way towards the All-Star break, while the Otters certainly looking for some offense and to earn a win tonight before they head back home to conclude their schedule before the All-Star break, taking on the Windy City Thunderbolts. Skies have cleared of rain, a little bit of blue sky and sunshine peeking out, mostly mixed clouds. At the moment, no thunderstorms projected. We had heavy rain come around 6:30 to 7, but it's an all artificial turf field, so the field was soaked up. Little bit of work done on the mound. The field looks good and ready for play here from Avon. Tell you more about the pitching matchup for tonight with John Vargas, the righty, going for the Otters, and Angelo Baez, also a righty, going for the Crushers. Vargas, as we mentioned, started the road trip for Evansville last Friday at Joliet when 5 2/3 against the Slammers took the loss, allowing 4 earned runs and 5 hits. Similar to, feels like how he's been all year. Started the game really well, did not allow a run into the 5th inning, but just never felt like Vargas had his best stuff. Allowed 9 hits on the outing, which is tied for his most in any appearance this season. 3.52 ERA overall for John, 8 appearances, 7 starts, holding opposing batters to hitting just .231 on the year. 4 of his 7 starts, quality outings, and he makes his 3rd consecutive road start. So Vargas had a lot of good moments for the Otters. Evansville looking for a really good pitching performance tonight with their bats struggling here at Mercy Health Stadium. Other side of things for Lake Erie, they send the Bronx native Angelo Baez out to the mound to make his 10th start of the season. Baez a 2.63 ERA and just over 54 innings pitched this year. Contact pitcher, just 43 strikeouts to 15 walks. He's been really consistent, hasn't allowed more than 3 runs in any appearances. First year here in Lake Erie after 2 years in New Jersey. So the Otters facing another good pitcher for the Crushers. Lake Erie's pitching their strength, and it certainly looked like that through the first 2 days of this series. Lake Erie about to introduce their starters here from Avon. After an hour rain delay, it's going to be a late night for baseball here from Avon. We'll take a quick break for the national anthem. Be right back with first pitch. You're listening to Evansville Otters baseball on the Otters Digital Network and Flow Sports.
The coaching staff for your Crushers, number 12 hitting coach Santiago Torino, number 12 pitching coach Jason Zardowski, and your manager, number 24, Jared Lemieux. those who served and who have served for our country, please rise and remove your caps as we honor America with the national anthem. Our anthem is presented today by Lorraine County Veterans Services Commission. In performing the anthem is our very own Tom Myros.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The national anthem tonight here at Mercy Health Stadium. Just about finally set for baseball. An hour behind schedule because of heavy thunderstorms and rain, but an all artificial turf field, and the forecast looking good for the rest of the evening. We're in store for this series finale. Certainly an odd schedule. It's been over 48 hours since the Otters and the Crushers last played July 4th afternoon, played 2 games in pretty quick succession. Night game on July 3rd, which Lake Erie won 6-0, and then a 4-2 victory for Lake Erie in the quick early afternoon turnaround on July 4th. Now all the way here on the evening of July 6th, the series finale on this Thursday night. So the Otters getting ready to bat, as we mentioned, the starter Angelo Baez for Lake Erie, guy who's been so consistent all season long. Around him on the diamond, Jackson Pritchard is the catcher for the Crushers. Josh Rego at first, Kemal Thomas Rivera at second, Jared Watkins at shortstop, and Keenan Irizarry at third base. In the outfield, Zach Ricusin in left field, Drew Galassi in center, and Jack Harris in right. Pitcher-catcher battery brought to you by the Answer Auto Repairs. You can find all your battery needs at the Answer Auto Repairs, located at 2319 North Green River Road in Evansville, or call at 812-475-9000. 77 degrees now, relatively pleasant day. It's been very hot and humid the last few days here in northeast Ohio, but the rain has cleared some of the humidity out of the air. Just a light breeze right now, 4 miles per hour blowing out to center field, and mostly overcast skies. The sun already starting to set and the lights are on here at Mercy Health Stadium. Uniforms today, Crushers in some sweet unis, almost look like the Yankees. White uniforms with black pinstripes. Crushers written in a beige font across the chest. Black numerals on the back, black socks, and a black hat with a red brim. Otters in their road blue tops with Otters written in white script across the chest. White numerals, gray pants, no piping, blue stockings, and white shoes. Noah Myers walking up to the plate for the Otters. We're ready for baseball in the series finale here from Mercy Health Stadium as the Otters looking to salvage a win. And hey, a win today, and the Otters finish the road trip 3-3. Baez ready on the right side of the rubber, just 5'8", 180. Yellow glove, that's just above the chest, kicks and throws. First pitch strike into Myers here. An hour and 4 minutes after our scheduled first pitch time, we're underway here along I-90 in Avon, Ohio. 0-1 home. Myers chops it foul above the Otters dugout, 0-2. Evansville, a woeful first 2 days offensively. Just 7 total hits and 3 runs. They struck out 21 times and walked just 6 times. 0-2 home. Just misses outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Otters hoping to turn things around today. At the moment, this is their worst offensive series since opening weekend when they struggled against Washington and were held to just 4 runs. The 1-2, popped up by Myers, left side, will get out of play. Certainly been a combination of great starting pitching by Lake Erie. Both guys were spectacular. J.D. Hammer on Tuesday and Kyle Seabach on Monday. An Otters team that just looks tired right now. The 1-2 misses outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's only natural, though. Every team is going to go through their ups and downs. They're going to have their slumps. This is not the first offensive slump we've certainly seen from the Otters, though it's been one of the more dramatic, granted just 2 games. It feels like more because it's been such a long time since we've played. The 2-2, chopped off the end of the bat, back to Baez, few steps off the mound, underhand toss to first in time to beat Myers 1 away. Our umpires around the diamond: Mark Schmidt at home, Wesley Dunkel at first, and Clifton Glidewell at third base. 1 down here in the top of the first as Myers grounds out. It brings up Kona Quiggle. Quiggle, lefty batter, to face the small ratty Baez, who twirls home. First pitch inside, and did it hit Quiggle? Well, Quiggle's down to a knee in some pain. And the catcher, Jackson Pritchard, in some pain as well. I think it got Quiggle on the knee. Took a deflection and hit both batter and catcher, and Quiggle went down right away. So Quiggle jogging down to first base, got hit, I think, right on the knee, and that's just gonna sting. So one aboard with 1 out here in the top of the first as it brings up another lefty batter, Dakota Phillips. Crafty Baez, certainly not an imposing force on the mound. He's got a 4-pitch mix. He's gonna pitch to contact, which might be a welcome sight for the Otters and how much they've struck out the first 2 days. First pitch home to Dakota. Sails outside for a ball, 1-0. Fastball, cutter, a slurve, and a changeup. The medley from Baez. He doesn't throw too hard. Fastball maxes out around 93. A 1 pitch is delivered high. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Otters saw 2 really hard-throwing starters the first 2 days in this series, and the lefty Kyle Seabach and the former big leaguer righty J.D. Hammer. 2 tall guys with commanding fastballs, and both had their command, and the Otters really struggled. The 1-1 is fouled off the screen by Phillips. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One on and 1 out here on the top of the first. We're just underway from Mercy Health Stadium after a little over an hour delay due to rain and thunderstorms. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and lined right at the third baseman, Irizarry. He'll eat it there as Quiggle dives back to first base. 2 away. Hard hit ball by Phillips, but right into the glove of the waiting third baseman. So 2 down in the top of the first, and it brings up Yomar Reyes, the third baseman. Otters, their first righties. They've continued with this lineup the last few weeks. 3 lefties at the top of the lineup to start things off. Pickoff throw over to first, and Quiggle just barely beats it. Good pickoff throw by Baez. Omar saw his 24-game on-base streak end on Tuesday afternoon. Second longest for any Otter player over the last 2 years. Reyes takes the first pitch outside. Quiggle racing down to second, and he's out. Quiggle trying to steal second. Pritchard with the great throw. Watkins, the shortstop, with the tag. And he gets Kona Quiggle for the 3rd out of the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the first. John Vargas takes the bump for the Otters. No score on the Otters Digital Network. Welcome back to Mercy Health Stadium. Bottom of the first inning, no score between the Crushers and the Otters. John Vargas taking the bump for Evansville. He started the year, 3.52 ERA for the 6'3", 185-pound righty from Southern California. Vargas hoping for his 5th quality start and his 5th win as well of the season. He's had a lot of strong outings this year. Didn't have his best stuff last time out against Joliet, but did get 5 2/3 and allowed 4 earned runs in the Otters' first loss of this road trip. The second most earned runs Vargas has allowed in any outing this season. 7 of his 9 outings, he has allowed 3 earned runs or less. He'll face Todd Isaacs Jr., DH righty batter, at the top of this lineup for Lake Erie in the bottom of the first. Vargas ready on the right side of the rubber. Big kick and a throw. Isaacs Jr. swings and lines the first pitch down the left field line. A fair ball rolling all the way to the wall. Isaacs Jr. hustling to second with a leadoff double. Around the Otters on the field, Jake Green catching, John Dyer at first, Damian Yenzi at second base, George Khalil at short, and Yomar Reyes at third. Noah Myers in left, Coda Quiggle in center, and Brian Rosario in right field. Leadoff double for Isaacs Jr. He's at second with nobody out, and it brings up Jack Harris Jr. Just 2 lefties in this lineup for Lake Erie. His time is called, and it's going to be a pitch clock violation on Vargas. Just 2 lefty batters in the lineup for Lake Erie. So mostly ready-on-ready matchups for Vargas tonight. First pitch home, swung on and lofted into right center. Over is Rosario to make a jogging grab for the first down of the inning. Isaacs Jr. will tag down to third easily without a throw. So a runner 90 feet away now with 1 out. Green catching Rosario, or Green catching Vargas, I should say, for the 8th time this season. That pitcher-catcher battery brought to you by The Answer Auto Repair East. Find your battery needs at The Answer Auto Repair East, located at 2319 North Green River Road in Evansville, or call at 812-475-9000. First pitch home to Jared Watkins, swing and a miss. One of the lefties in the lineup for Lake Erie, and one of their only all-star that will be playing at Ozinga Field next week. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball falls outside. 1 ball and 1 strike to Watkins. Otters have never led in this series, trying to avoid falling into an early 1-0 hole here in the bottom of the first. Sun is peeking out behind the clouds. 1-1 home. Breaking ball misses low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Vargas primarily a fastball and a curveball. When his curveball is working, it can feel nearly unhittable. Two-one delivery. Swung on and grounded right side. He skids off the side of the bag, but fielded well by Dyer, and he steps on the first base bag for the second out. And Isaacs Jr. jogs hope from third to score. It's 1-0 Lake Erie. Good situational hitting by the Crushers. Leadoff double. Sac fly and a pop out to right, and then grounding one to the right side, and no other play for Dyer but to take the out. So Lake Erie strikes first again for now all games in this series. 2 away bases empty for Kemuel Thomas Rivera. He takes a first pitch low. See a slider as well from Vargas. Comes home. Breaking ball just misses low. 2 balls and no strikes. Sun is emerged behind the clouds, and the outfield as well as the back half of the infield now in the late evening sunshine. 2-0 pitch. A strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Otters trying to avoid being swept for the first time this season, and Lake Erie looking for their first sweep of the year. Vargas kicks and throws. A breaking ball at the knees is a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Say the fastball, and they go into the curveball for Vargas. Trying to put Thomas Rivera away here in the bottom of the first. Kick and a throw. Check swing and a ball in the dirt. He went around. Strike 3 call. Thomas Rivera chases one off the plate, and Vargas earns his first strikeout of the game to retire the side. 1 run comes across in the bottom of the first. It's 1-0 Lake Erie on the Otters Digital Network. Back for the top of the second inning from Avon. Rain delayed by an hour, but now the sunshine peeking out behind the clouds, and it's quite a lovely evening here on the shores of Lake Erie. The Crushers leading the Otters 1-0 through 1 in the series finale, and the Otters ending this long 6-game road trip before a weekend series back home before the All-Star break. Omar Reyes will lead things off in the top of the second for the Otters. Reyes was at the plate in the top of the first when Kona Quiggle was thrown out stealing. First pitch to Reyes, swung on and lofted high in the air to left field. Back is Rakusin at the wall, leaping, it's gone! Yomar Reyes with his 3rd home run of the season ties the game at 1 in the top of the second. It's the Otters' first home run in over a week. Otters hadn't hit one since last Tuesday against Gateway, and it's Reyes' first home run since May. 351 feet down the left field line and just clearing the wall over the grasp of Rakusin. The Otters offense looking for a spark. They get it here on the top of the second by Reyes. Brings up John Dyer, who takes the first pitch strike on the inner third. Reyes has done just about everything well this year except power. Just hasn't shown much of it, hasn't needed much of it. His swing and a miss by Dyer, 0-2. Yomar's 2 home runs on the year, both came at New Jersey at Hinchliff Stadium all the way back in late May. 0-2 home. Sales low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Reyes hit 2-run blasts on back-to-back days at Hinchliff back on May 23rd and May 24th. This is his first since then. 1-2, swung on and grounded left side right to the third baseman Irizarry. Fields it behind the back, throws to first in time to beat Dyer by a stride, 1 away. Reyes' home run brought to you by McMahon Exterminating. That ball was exterminated. And remember, who can help with all your pest control needs? McMahon can. It had been 9 days since the Otters had last hit a home run when Noah Myers hit one at home against Gateway. Their first home run of this road series. road trip comes in the last game of it. George Khalil takes the first pitch low for a ball. 1-0 with one out here in the top of the second, and we're all tied at 1. When your offense is struggling, power is a great way to get back into it. It's an easy way to score runs. The 1-0 sails outside, 2 balls and no strikes to Khalil. Reyes has had 39 career home runs coming into this season, 39 over 5 seasons in the Baltimore Orioles organization. The 2-0 pitch, a strike at the knees, 2 balls and 1 strike. Certainly has the capability for power, but Reyes is 57 hits an inning over 329. It's been a lot of base hits and doubles, and that's worked well for Reyes. Khalil swings and lines one up the middle. It's through for a base hit. George Khalil has his second hit of the series on a line drive up the middle, and there's 1 on with 1 out here in the top of the second. Brings up Damian Yenzi, the second baseman, with 1 on and 1 out here in the top of the second. Yenzi's first plate appearance here as a professional. Imagine a few nerves fluttering through him right now. First pitch to the righty batter, swung on and lofted into center field. Coming in, Galassi leaping and making the catch. 2 away. Well, Galassi not waiting around, put a good charge into a baseball, and Galassi overran the ball, came in too much, and then had to jump up into the air to make the catch for the second out of the inning. So 2 away here in the top of the second. Khalil still at first. That brings up Jake Green, the catcher. First pitch to Green. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Green had the day off on Tuesday, went 1 for 3 on Monday. All tied at 1 here in the top of the second. The series finale on this rain-delayed Thursday. The 1-0 sails high, 2 balls and no strikes. Certainly the benefit of all artificial turf field, even though we had pretty heavy rain for a good 10 minutes. Right around when first pitch was supposed to be. The field, just artificial turf field, just soaks it all up. 2-0 is swung on and squibbed off the end of the bat. Fielded by the shortstop. Watkins throws to first in time to beat Green and retire the side. Yomar Reyes, a solo home run, ties the game in the top of the second inning. All tied at 1 on the Otters Digital Network.
Hey, Crushers fans, are you looking for the best chicken fingers around outside of the ballpark? Raising Cane's focuses on only one thing, chicken fingers, and they do it better than anyone else. It's what they call one love, one taste, and eat two will be the Raising Cane's Skinny ad. They're located on Chester Road in Avon. Stop by and grab a thrill the next time you are hungry. Fans, today is Sushi Thursday, and we are celebrating the half-hour concept deals at all locations throughout the ballpark. Stop by and enjoy refreshing beverage as you cheer the Crushers tonight. Fans, don't forget to stop by the fan services table and sign up to meet today. Select Pata, designated driver on the game. With unlimited fountain soft drinks for the rest of today's game. The winner will be announced during the third inning.
Bottom of the second inning from Avon, Ohio. All tied at 1 between the Otters and the Crushers. Zach Ricusin leads things off in the bottom of the second for Lake Erie. John Vargas back out to work. First pitch home from Vargas. High looper catches the top corner of the strike zone. Omar Reyes, a solo home run in the top of the second inning, answering the run by Lake Erie in the bottom of the first as Ricusin takes outside 1-1. Leadoff double by Todd Isaacs Jr. in the top of the first. He came around to score after a sac fly moved into third and a ground out to the right side scored him from third. 0-1 popped up into center field. Working to his left is Quiggle, and Myers will make the catch as he tumbles into Quiggle. They're okay. Wow. Quiggle on a dead sprint to his left, and him and Myers ran into each other. Quiggle kind of spun off him and then was able to stabilize himself along the wall. So Myers makes the catch, and Quiggle and Myers just barely avoiding catastrophe with a big collision in left field. But Quiggle, while he did run into him, mostly able to get out of the way. So one away, and it brings up Keenan Irizarry, the third baseman. Lefty batter takes the first pitch for a ball. 1-0 pitch. Popped up right over my head and out of play. Credit to the Crusher fans that have shown up tonight after thunderstorms for so much of the day. It's not an inviting night to come out and watch a game, though it's turned into a fine evening now. 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2 to Irizarry. And this ballpark is not conducive to waiting out a rain delay. There's basically no cover anywhere in the ballpark to shield yourself from the elements. 1-2, bouncing in front of home plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Not a big crowd by any measure, but good number of fans scattered across the ballpark tonight. Lake Erie's final game before the All-Star break. They're traveling to Schaumburg tomorrow. 2-2 pitch. Swung on and hit hard down the right field line, but foul. John Vargas making his 3rd straight road start. And his 6th overall. The 2-2 is foul tipped off the end of the bat of Irizarry to stay alive. Vargas struggled in his first road outing at New Jersey, where he walked 9. And since then, he's had some really good starts on the road, including a win at Florence and 7 innings of a tough luck loss at Joliet, where he allowed just 1 run. 2-2 pitch. He is low in a full count. At times dominant, but he's been relatively consistent as well. The command is always the biggest thing to watch for Vargas. Payoff pitch. Irizarry lost one into shallow center, racing back Yenzi, can't get there, over his head and bouncing into center field. It's a bloop base hit for Irizarry with 1 out in the bottom of the 2nd. So Vargas will have to work out of the stretch again here in the bottom of the 2nd inning as he faces the catcher Jackson Pritchard. Pritchard making just his 8th start of the season with 6 hits on the year. Pritchard takes the first pitch low, 1-0. A lot of guys for Lake Erie that have struggled at times this season having great series, especially Isaacs Jr. and Harris at the top of the order for the Crushers, have had really incredible first 2 days of this series. Helped Lake Erie to their first series win since early June. 1-0, inside 2 balls and no strikes. Vargas taking a little extra time on the mound, looking down at his feet, now working out of the stretch with the gray pants rolled all the way up to above the knees with tall blue socks. Kicks and throws, just misses low, 3-0. High set for Vargas, and the 3-0 pitch. Inside for ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Pritchard. Not a good sign. There's 2 on with 1 out. Irizarry at second and Pritchard at first with 1 away. And it brings up Zachary Cusin. Or excuse me, it brings up Josh Rago. 2 on, 1 out, all tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second. Rago, the new signee for the Crushers, in just his 3rd professional game, takes a first pitch up and in. Nearly hit Rago, 0-1. And to duck out of the way of a ball up near the head. And McCauley out to have a quick word with Mark Schmidt. I think before the pitch they called a pitch clock violation on Vargas, and that's his 2nd. McCauley pleading his case with Mark Schmidt. It's tough being a pitch clock operator, and they did a study with MLB of some pitch clock operators are a little bit more touchy than others. Some start the clock earlier, some start the clock later. Vargas now 2 pitch clock violations here in his outing already today, just the top of the 2nd inning. So first pitch a ball on the pitch clock violation, and now the 1-0 home is low. 2 balls and no strikes. It's tough to have a first pitch ball thrown on you when you just walked the batter before on 4 pitches. Two 2-0. Popped up and out of play. 2 balls and 1 strike. Irizarry at second. Pritchard at first with 1 out in the bottom of the 2nd. Otters 1, Crushers 1. Vargas comes home. Swing and a miss by Rago. There's the nasty breaking ball from Vargas, and Rago was way out in front of it. Late evening sunshine continuing to shine down on the field after the storms and rain of earlier this evening. 2-2. Check swing on a ball in the dirt. Did he go around? Check down to the 3rd base umpire, Clifton Glidewell. No, he didn't. Yes, he did. It was a subtle side, so Glidewell couldn't hold up. Another breaking ball on the dirt. And there's the 2nd strikeout for Vargas. Both have been on check swings. 2 away here in the 2nd. It brings up Drew Galassi, the center fielder. Galassi, a lefty batter. Vargas comes home. Breaking ball is down in the turf. 1 ball and no strikes. Mound is all turf, but it was protected under a little mini tarp, and then they were doing some work on it before the game to make sure it was ready for play. Even though it's all turf, the mound can be a little bit more susceptible as Galassi swings and misses. 1-1. Vargas looking for the last out of the 2nd. Winds and throws. High. 2 balls and 1 strike. Beige brown glove just above the chest. Vargas delivers. Bouncing in front of home plate. 3 balls and 1 strike. Vargas, the only new starter in this Otters rotation of the 6 starters this year. And he's got the Otters' only new catcher this year, and Jake Green behind the plate. These 2 have become close in terms of a pitcher-catcher battery. 3-1. He is low for ball 4. Green had a long framing it up. The pitch was shown as strike in Yakertek, but Mark Schmidt doesn't give Vargas the call. It's loaded the bases with 2 outs. Irizarry at 3rd, Pritchard at 2nd, and Galassi at 1st. 2 walks in the inning for Vargas. Back to the top of the order, and Todd Isaacs Jr. takes the first pitch low for a ball. So a dangerous guy to have at the plate with the bases loaded. Isaacs Jr. with a leadoff double in the bottom of the 1st. He has 5 hits now on the series. Included a 3-hit and 3-run day on Monday. 1-0. Low again. 2 balls and no strikes. Check over to the first base umpire, Wesley Dunkel. He held up. Vargas even pointed his glove over to Dunkel to make sure. Vargas takes a big, deep breath. Nowhere to put him, and he's behind 2-0. Rocking back and forth, comes home. Strike on the inside corner, 2 balls and 1 strike. All tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second. Game start delayed by an hour due to rain. The 2-1 misses outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Bases are loaded with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Vargas behind 3-1 to Isaacs Jr. Pitch home. Swung on and grounded up the middle under the glove of Galassi. Picked up by Yenzi. Tosses to second base. Khalil steps on the bag in time for the 3rd out. Galassi can't believe the call. Hopping up and down at second base. Yenzi, in his first play of his professional career, gets a key toss off to Khalil to step on the bag for the 4th out and leave the bases stranded, loaded. 2 complete, all tied at 1 on the Otters Digital Network.
Chief Credit Union has been Lorraine County's credit union for over 65 years. Conveniently located in Elyria, Lorraine, and LaGrange, the Chief Credit Union has built a stellar reputation for friendly, personal service, low loan rates, and giving back to our local community. It's simple to become a member. Just visit achievcu.org to learn more.
2 innings complete for Mercy Health Stadium. All tied at 1 between Evansville and Lake Erie. Griffin Epstein joining you here on the Otters Digital Network. Brian Rosario leads things off for the Otters in the top of the 3rd inning. Angelo Baez delivers. Rosie takes the first pitch strike on the inner 3rd. Omar Reyes solo home run in the 2nd inning for the Otters, tying the game. Todd Isaacs Jr. had a leadoff double, came around to score in the bottom of the 1st. The 0-1 sails high, 1 ball and 1 strike. Lights are on and just starting to come into effect. Had some sunshine peek out from the storm clouds for the last 20 minutes or so. It's disappeared behind more clouds and starting to darken. Rosario swings, grounds one up the middle, off the glove of the shortstop Watkins, and trickling into center field. Rosario aboard at first. Softly hit ball up the middle. Watkins took a long angle to get it on the edge of the center field turf, and the ball bounced off his glove and into center. Even if he'd fielded it cleanly, not sure he would have had a play at first anyways. It will go down as a base hit for Rosario, and now the Otters have the stolen base leader in the league aboard at first with nobody out on the top of the 3rd. Back to the top of the order, Noah Myers swinging away and fouls the first pitch off. Part of the reason Andy McCauley puts Rosario in the 9 hole, so you have an extremely speedy runner on base, and then you get the top of the lineup to come up for Evansville. Oh, and 1 pitch. Just misses outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Got great news for Noah after the game on Tuesday, and made official this morning that He was named a late addition to the Frontier League West All-Star team. 1-1. Sales high, 2 balls and 1 strike. Really much deserved for Myers. I mentioned it earlier this week after the initial All-Star selections were revealed. He felt like of any guy to be snubbed for the Otters, Myers was at the top of the list. But snubbed no more. 2-1 pitch. Misses outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Myers has done it all. 282 batting average, 49 hits. He's fast on the base pass with 17 stolen bases. He's hit for power with 8 home runs. He's been a patient batter, tied for the Otters lead in walks, and he's been a terrific left fielder as well. Complete ball player at the top of the lineup for Evansville. 3-1. Grounded off the end of the bat, foul down the left field line. Just a few bounces to the left of the third base back. A full count now to Myers with Rosario at first here in the top of the third. All knotted at 1. Baez steps off. Pickoff throw back to first. Rosario back in safely. 32 of 36 stealing bases this year for Rosario to lead the Frontier League. Payoff pitch coming to Myers. Kick and a throw. Outside corner, strike 3 called. A flamboyant strike 3 call by Mark Schmidt. He first threw the right arm in the air before signaling the strikeout with the left arm. So first strikeout of the game for Baez, 1 away, with Rosario still at first. It brings up Kona Quiggle. Another pickoff throw, and Rosario diving back in safely to first. Quiggle was hit by a pitch on the knee back in the first inning. Kona 1 for 8 on the series. That an RBI base hit on Tuesday. First pitch to Quiggle. Grounded right to the first baseman, Rego. He steps on the first base, back throws to second and won't be in time. 2 away, and Rosario's down to second base. Interesting decision by Rego. If he releases the ball right away, probably would have gotten the force with Rosario at second. Instead of stepping on the first base bag and getting the out, but now the Otters have the go-ahead run in scoring position here. Instead of if Rego just goes to second, then you just trade places at first with 2 outs. So Rosario at second with Dakota Phillips the batter, and time is called by the catcher Mark Schmidt, or excuse me, by the catcher Jackson Pritchard. Have to have a quick word with Baez, communicated in front of home plate, and heads back behind the dish. Rosario at second with 2 outs here in the top of the third. First pitch from Baez. Swung on and fouled off the catcher's mitt of Pritchard. Phillips popped out to the third baseman back in the first inning. Dak, one of 2 all-star starters on the Otters, along with Jeffrey Baez, who Evansville will get back in the lineup tomorrow when the Otters return to Bosse Field. 0-1. Swung on and lined up the middle. It's thrown to center field, a base hit. Rosario is sent and will score without a throw. The Otters have their first lead of the series. They lead 2-1 here in the top of the third. A poor fielding decision by the first baseman, Rego, comes back to bite him. One of the fastest runners in the Frontier League at second base, a base hit into center field is almost a guaranteed score. It's Dakota's second RBI base hit of the series. Makes it 2-1 Otters here in the top of the third as Reyes takes the first pitch strike. A run in the second and now a run in the third for the Otters. They're scoring just 2 runs through the first 2 games. They've scored 2 runs here in the first 3 innings. The 0-1 misses low, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's often a pitcher's duel, low-scoring affairs. Finding a way to scratch across just 1 run, especially with runners in scoring position, is big. And Evansville able to do that here in the top of the 3rd on the 2-out RBI base hit by Phillips. 2-1 pitch. Reyes hacks at it and fouls it down the right field line. One and 2 from Baez. It's inside and hit Reyes. Hit Reyes right on the elbow guard and then deflected off the foot of Pritchard. So the Otters hit now for the 2nd time today. It just keeps on happening. Hit by pitch after hit by pitch. Reyes didn't even flinch. It hit him in the right spot, right off the elbow guard on a 88-mile-per-hour fastball. Otters have now been hit already 70 times this season. Had been hit by a pitch in 9 straight games entering this series. Hadn't been hit in the first 2 games of this series. But now twice Baez has hit an Otter batter in the first 3 innings. And Evansville's got a chance for more with 2 on and 2 out. And John Dyer the batter. Phillips at second, Reyes at first. Baez kicks and throws. First pitch is high. 1 ball and no strike to John Dyer. Dyer making his 5th start of the season. He's finally repeating at a position. 1-0. This is inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Dyer, just a wild professional debut with 4 starts in 4 different positions. First base, third base, right field, left field. Now making his 2nd start of the year at first base this evening. Is behind 2-0 as he peeks back at second base, delivers home. Swing and a miss, 2-1. One in the second and 1 in the 3rd for the Otters to take a 2-1 lead. Two-1. Outside, 3 balls and 1 strike to Dyer. Baez having some issues here in the top of the 3rd inning. He's hit a batter and now has fallen way behind Dyer. Otters with 2 runs on 4 hits, and they've worked Baez's pitch count up to 40 already. The 3-1. Swing and a miss. Back to the fastball, blowing it by Dyer in a full count. Dyer's gonna call time here with a full count, 2 outs and 2 on in the top of the 3rd inning. Otters leading 2-1. Dyer looking for his 3rd hit of the year. He started 2 for 14 through his first 4 starts. Payoff pitch home. Popped up into right field. Back is Jack Harris. Few steps from the track under it and makes the grab for the 3rd out of the inning. The side is retired. The Otters do score 1 straight 2 on 2 hits. It's 2-1 Evansville. So we go to the bottom of the 3rd on the Otters Digital Network.
Yesterday's driver of the game is Karen Gideon. Please stop by the field services desk. You've won 3 non-alcoholic beverages for the rest of the game. Don't forget, kids, the kids zone is open. Grab your parent and head over to the right field to check out the kids zone, sponsored by St. Paul Wrestling. Leading off for your Crushers, number 9, Jack Harris.
Welcome back to Mercy Health Stadium for the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-1 lead for the Otters over the Crushers as Jack Harris leads off and takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Rain delayed by an hour here in Northeast Ohio. Otters off to a good start as Harris swings and drives one into center field. Back is Kona Quiggle. It bounces off the warning track in the wall. Harris into second with a stand-up double. The terrific series continues for the Crushers right fielder. Harris has his 5th hit of the series. A leadoff double for Harris in the bottom of the 3rd brings up the all-star shortstop lefty batter Jared Watkins. 2-1 Otters lead in the bottom of the 3rd. Vargas delivers as strike at the knees to Watkins, 0-1. A 1 is fouled off the end of the bat, 0-2. The Lake Erie mascot Stomper, who's a overweight cuddly bear, has brought out the drum again today. 0-2, outside 1 ball and 2 strikes. Got a big blue drum with a big mallet and is thwacking the top of the drum here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. One-two from Vargas. He is driven foul onto the concourse. Pretty close to Stomper. I don't know if a ball was hit at him. He certainly ate a few too many donuts. Maybe some ice cream here at the ballpark. Too much ballpark food. He might not be able to get out of the way. The 1-2 is lunged at and popped up high in the air to center field. Quiggle a few steps to his right makes the catch. Harris starts his tag and then puts on the brakes and will stay at second with 1 away now here in the bottom of the 3rd. Vargas has his first out of the bottom of the 3rd inning. Harris at second as Kemuel Thomas Rivera, the second baseman, comes to the plate. Righty batter with a runner at second and 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. The Otters lead 2-1 as they look to salvage a victory to end their road trip here. Thomas Rivera swings and misses at the first pitch. The 0-1 is low, 1 ball and 1 strike. It's actually not a drum that Stomper possesses, but a Lowe's bucket. Possibly he's been doing some construction work lately around the house. 1-1 from Vargas. Inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Thomas Rivera. Already be the 50th pitch coming up for the righty Vargas here in the bottom of the 3rd. Peeks back at second, comes home. Popped up high in the air to center field, taking Quiggle back at the edge of the warning track, reaches up the glove and makes the catch. Harris will tag this time and is safely to third without a throw. Ball that really carried off the bat at Thomas Rivera, and Quiggle caught it right in front of the 400 marker in dead away center.
Now to bat number 8, Zach Racusini.
2 away in the bottom of the third. Harris 90 feet away at third as it brings up Zachary Cusin, the left fielder. Ready batter to face Vargas. Vargas throws. First pitch strike on the inside corner, 0-1. 0-1 pitch. Popped up into foul territory, and it bounces right off the side of the fencing and towards the Otters bullpen. Vargas a strike away from escaping things here in the third. He worked out of a bases loaded jam in the second. This was really the name of the game for Vargas in his last start as well on Friday against Joliet, working out of trouble for much of that game. Oh, 2 home. Outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Vargas just started walking right towards the Otter dugout. He took 4 strides and then just stopped and stood there for a moment. Back on the rubber for the 1-2 counts. Wind to the throw. Ball in the dirt, check swing by Racusini, he held up. Green pops out of his crouch to look back. Harris at third. Hard work through the first 3 innings for Vargas. He's a strike away from completing it. 2-2. Swung on and driven down the left field line, a fair ball. Scoring is Harris. Hustling to second is Racusin, sliding in safely under the tag with a double. An RBI double by the former Gateway Grizzly, Zach Racusin, ties the game at 2 in the bottom of the third. Vargas not able to find the last strike, and Racusin, with just his second hit as a Crusher, is a big one to left. Made 5 starts with the Grizzlies and had 4 hits, and now has his second here on Thursday evening with the Crushers. So he's at second with 2 outs, and it brings up Kenan Irizarry, the third baseman. Lefty batter takes the first pitch low. Certainly not an electric Lake Erie offense. Top to bottom, there's some holes, but they have fought hard. Feels like all series long. I've scored a lot of runs with 2 outs. Not let the Otters off the hook as Irizarry takes low, 2-0. Been a resilient ball club this week, and they're looking to put together their first sweep of the year halfway through the season. Two from Vargas, taken all the way for a strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Lights are on pretty much into full effect. Sky darkening overhead, can still see some patchy clouds. It's going to be a long night on the bus for the Otters after this ballgame concludes. 2-1 is in the dirt. 3 balls and 1 strike. Will pretty much be an overnight trip at this point for Evansville. With the hour delay and the 7-hour bus ride back to the River City, we'll be seeing the sunrise as we pull into Bosse Field tomorrow morning, and then the Otters will play on tomorrow evening back at home against Windy City. 3-1. Strike on the outside corner, and Vargas has worked it back to a full count to Irizarry. Again, looking for that elusive last strike of the inning. It's been an eventful first 3 innings. More eventful than we've seen almost all series. Mostly pitchers' duels so far this year. The payoff. Outside corner, strike 3 called. Pretty pitch by Vargas to retire the side. Lake Erie ties it though, an RBI double by Recusin. We're all tied at 2 through 3 on the Otters Digital Network.
Hey fans, it's time to check down to the field for our Mercy Puzzle Game. Tom Myers can tell you all about it.
That's right. Mercy Health is sponsoring the Mercy Puzzle Game. Now, this is a health jigsaw puzzle made up of 6 pieces and when put together properly, succeed electrode records with a picture of Dr. Barclay on it. Now, we have 2 contestants. On the third base side, we have Kayla, and on the first base side, we have Andrew. So when I say go, they'll start putting the puzzle together. So let's try out see what's going on over there. Okay? On your mark, get set, puzzle. Start putting that puzzle together now, all right? Now, the weather will not be a factor at all on this. I can tell you right now. It's a nice clear evening. Things are dried out nicely. The puzzle pieces might be a little damp. But you got to take the time. First base is going pretty well. Looks like Andrew seems to be working very methodically. Over here, Stomp is getting involved. I'm not sure that's a good idea or a bad idea. But I've got 4 pieces, 5 pieces of Stomp is right. We got a puzzle on the first base side. First base is the winner. Anderson is the winner. Yes! First base wins.
Hey, Crush fans, one thing you can never trust is the weather and that pesky outside corner of the strike zone. But one thing you can always trust, Mercy Health. They've been a part of the Lake Erie community for more than 125 years. Mercy Health is the official healthcare partner of the Lake Erie Crushers. It's Throwback Thursday. Tonight our players represent 15 years of fun here at the Lake Erie Crushers with our throwback jerseys. We have moved fitting back offline and in-person only. They will open and close during our 15 years of fun game next Friday, July 14th. So don't miss out. Get your tickets today at LakeErieCrushers.com. And now for that for the Otters, number 6, George Khalil.
Back at Mercy Health Stadium, top of the 4th inning. Otters 2, Crushers 2. George Khalil leading off for the Otters in the top of the 4th. George took a first pitch strike. Now the 0-1 from Baez. Low for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike to Khalil. Seen 4 of our first 6 half innings with runs in them. How unusual. The first 2 games were largely offensive lists for most stretches, especially early in those games. Khalil takes low 2-1. Crushers shut out the Otters 6-0 on Monday evening on 4th of July Eve, and then a 4-2 victory on July 4th as Khalil swings and misses 2-2. Then the unusual middle day off yesterday in the middle of a series before a evening affair to conclude his 3-game set. 2-2 from Baez. Popped up by Khalil behind home plate. Over is the first baseman Rego, and it bounces onto the concourse. Lysander full effect now. Sky is pretty much darkened overhead. A few rays of sunshine poking through to my left. Little opening between the clouds. Last momentary glimpse of blue sky. Swing and a miss. Khalil down on strikes 1 away. Second strikeout for Baez. Want to make your lawn and landscape look like a field of dreams? Make sure you use 10 Barge Professional brand products. Pick them up at any of our 3 locations, beautifying the communities we live in and the grass we walk and play on, all since 1940. One away here in the top of the 4th inning, and Damian Yenzi, the second baseman, stands in. Righty takes a first pitch, bouncing on the ground for a ball, 1-0. Yenzi in his first professional at bat in the 2nd inning swung at the first pitch and put a good charge into one, but lined out to the center fielder Galassi. 1-0 home. Yenzi takes high, 2 balls and no strikes. So Yenzi just signed on Monday. He drove in from his hometown of Pittsburgh to meet the Otters Monday morning at the hotel. Signed Sunday night. So comes the 2-0 pitch on the inside corner for a strike, 2-1. It's Ethan Skinder working through a minor injury right now, but he's been out for this series. The Otters needed an extra infielder, and Yenzi stepping in and now starting here after not appearing in the first 2 games of the series. The 2-1 sails outside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Yenzi played 4 years at Marietta College, D3 school in Marietta, Ohio, which is in the southern edge of the state, bordering West Virginia. 3-1 from Baez. He's low for ball 4. There's a walk worked by Yenzi, first time he's on base in his professional career. 1 on and 1 out with Yenzi at first, brings up Jake Green. Yenzi did get a taste of pro ball this spring. He was with the Florence Yalls in spring training, but did not make the final roster. And now getting an opportunity here with the Otters, and with a good performance tonight, he might be welcomed back on the bus ride back to Bosse. Takes a big lead at first as a first pitch misses low to Jake Green, 1-0. And Jackson Pritchard out to have a quick word with Baez. Not good command so far, surprisingly, by Angelo Baez. He's hit 2 batters. While he hasn't walked anyone, it's just fallen behind a lot of batters. And his pitch count soaring up to 57 pitches here in the top of the 4th. As a guy who just had 15 walks in his 54 innings pitch entering today. I guess it's still not showing up on the scoreboard, but he's fallen behind batter after batter. 1-0 to Green. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Otters have had a runner so far in every inning. This looks like just a much more disciplined and focused offense today than the first 2 games of this series. The 2-0 is high, 3 balls and no strikes. Otters had just 3 hits on Tuesday and 4 hits on Monday. Already 4 hits here in the top of the 4th inning. They've gotten 3 free passes as well on 2 hit pitches and 1 walk. The 3-0. Outside for ball 4. Green works a walk. Back-to-back walks by Baez, who takes the ball back and wanders around the mound in a distraught gait. 2 on and 1 out. Brian Rosario comes to the plate, and the Otters a great chance to retake the lead in the top of the 4th. First pitch home to Rosie. Switch hitter batting lefty, takes a first pitch inside, 1-0. Rosario had a infield base hit back in the second and came around to score on an RBI hit by Phillips. Baez peeks back at second, kicks and throws. Low to Rosario, 1 ball and 1 strike. Rosario with a hit today, now has hits in 5 of his last 7 games. Still trying to raise that batting average. Hitting .231 entering today. 1-1. He is chopped foul and bouncing off his seat to the right of the Otters dugout and grabbed off a hump by a fan. Nice play. 1-2 count to Rosario. 2 on, 1 out, top of the 4th. We're tied at 2. One-two home. Swung on and lined right to the second baseman, Thomas Rivera. He tosses to Watkins, who steps on the second base bag to double up Yenzi and retire the side. Liner right at the second baseman, Thomas Rivera. Nothing the Otters can do. Double play ends the inning. Go to the bottom of the 4th, tied at 2 on the Otters Digital Network.
fans, there's nothing better than taking in a Crushers game with a group of your friends or coworkers. You can get discounted tickets across or access to our exclusive group areas in the Pros. It's a great way to get your favorite game together and enjoy a night of fun. For more information on group viewing options, contact the Crushers box office or visit our website at Lake Erie Crushers. Looking to replace your floors this summer? Floor Coverings International is your go-to for any flooring needs. Floor coverings to make your home feel brand new. And they're conveniently located in Avon Lake.
Moving on to the bottom of the fourth inning from Mercy Health Stadium, all tied at 2 between Lake Erie and Evansville. The Otters Digital Network and simulcast as well on Flow Sports. Thursday night, game delayed by an hour, starting just after 8 o'clock local time due to rain and thunderstorms. We had much of the afternoon, clearing up the heavy humidity we had over the last day or so here in Cleveland. Jackson Pritchard leads off and takes the first pitch inside for a ball. Had a great time exploring a little bit of Cleveland and the surrounding area the last few days. The 0-1 popped up by Pritchard, high in the air to right field. Rosario back at the warning track makes the grab. Ball just kept on carrying off the bat of Pritchard, and Rosario went almost all the way to the wall to finally make the grab. That one nearly went over the wall if Rosario wasn't there. One away in the bottom of the fourth brings up Josh Rigo, the first baseman. Vargas comes home. Rigo takes his strike. Last night, the Otters got to all go to the Cleveland Guardians game together. It's an absolute treat to be at Progressive Field. The 0-1 outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Big thanks to Otters owner Bill Bussing for helping us out and buying us all tickets to enjoy the Guardians game. The 1-1 is low, 2 balls and 1 strike. Was not the best game. The Braves beat up the Guardians 8-1, but awesome ballpark. Got to see some of the best players in the world, mostly on the Braves side. 2-1. On the outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. I mean, no insult to the Guardians. They're having a solid season. Pretty special to see Ronald Acuna Jr., though, in person. He's putting together a special season. 2-2. He is low, a full count. Check over to first. And Rego held up a full count. Braves hit a lot of home runs. Not a lot to cheer about for the Guardians, but great atmosphere, great ballpark. It was hot, but blue skies. I think all the players really enjoyed it. Payoff pitch is lined into left field. Coming in, Myers will play it on a hop. Rego has a base hit to left. 1 on with 1 out here in the bottom of the fourth. Bringing up Drew Galassi. All tied at 2 here in the bottom of the fourth. Rego at first with 1 out. It's the 5th hit of the game for the Crushers. They have 3 doubles, 2 hits, and Vargas is allowed a walk as well. Comes home, pitch sails low to Galassi, 1-0. Home, low in the dirt. Good stop by Green, who looks back. Rego at first, 2-0. It's time to check the Seal Corp Frontier League standings. As we are approaching the All-Star break. It's final weekend series, and then everyone's got the next few days off. The 2-0 pitch on the inside corner for a strike, 2-1. Pretty fascinating how the standings look right now in the Frontier League West. You have 5 teams that are all separated by no more than 1 game at the bottom of the standings. The 2-1 is fouled away 2-2. And then there's a huge gap, 6.5 game gap between that bottom 5 and the top 3, who right now would all make the playoffs in Gateway, Schaumburg, and Evansville. Windy City, Florence, Joliet, Lake Erie, and Washington, all separated by 1 game in the bottom 5 in the Frontier League West. 2-2 to Galassi, outside in a full count. But while right now it looks like Gateway, Schaumburg, and Evansville could run away with things and be the 3 teams in the West, it also means that any one of those 5 teams could get hot and make things interesting down the stretch in August. Payoff, popped up, left side, Reyes in green looking over, Reyes leaning over and can't make the catch. Oh, a little bit of an assist by one of the young fans by the Crushers who stuck out the glove and kind of knocked the ball away from Reyes. There's a youth baseball team down the third base line, and Reyes was there sticking the glove over the railing, but as was one of the little kids, and he helped assist the Crushers and knock the ball away from Yomar. Payoff home, and it's fouled away by Galassi to stay alive. While you're supposed to let the players play, I mean, there's no full rule against it if the ball is not on the field. Another payoff. It's outside for ball 4. Walk to Galassi and give the kid in the stands an assist. That can end up being a big play in this game. There's 2 on with 1 out. Back to the top of the order, too. Todd Isaacs Jr. coming to the plate. Well, both teams have made things very difficult for the starters tonight. Vargas has seen a runner in scoring position now in every inning, trying to get out of a scoreless 4th and keep us tied at 2. First pitch home. Inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Anyways, to finish on the standings, Otters are 4 games back of Gateway. Schaumburg a game and a half back of Gateway. So with the Otters dropping the last few, a little bit of separation between the top 3 as well. The 1-0 sales side, 2 balls and no strikes. Now bottom 5, Florence plummeting, they're struggling. Joliet falling, they're struggling. Windy City, Washington, and Lake Erie all playing better right now. That's how all of a sudden all those 5 teams have come together. It's going to make for a really interesting next few weeks to see if any of those teams can mount a challenge to the top 3 in the West. The 2-0 misses outside, and it's 3-0 to Isaacs Jr. There's an arm now warming in the Otters' pen. This is trouble here for Vargas. He's at 80 pitches, still just in the bottom of the 4th. 2 on and 1 out, and he's behind Isaacs Jr. 3-0. Pitch home. Inside, and it hit him. Hit Isaacs Jr. on the arm. Right on the elbow. It's loaded the bases with 1 out. Vargas has just not looked sharp really at any time tonight. And out comes Max Peterson to have a word with Vargas. Vargas got out of a bases loaded jam back in the 2nd inning. Got a bases loaded jam here in the 4th. And Max Peterson out to talk with Vargas and leave him in the game for now. 84 pitches for Vargas, 3 strikeouts, 3 walks, 5 hits allowed, 2 earned runs across. He's walked 3 and hit 1. So, meeting with Vargas in the infield. Omar Reyes, his close friend and third baseman, sharing a few words with him as well. Vargas walking off the back of the mound, looking out into the sky, taking off his hat and trying to mentally reset himself. His command's not been great tonight for Vargas, and that is always the issue. When his command's not good, Vargas comes out of his rhythm. Face the righty, Jack Harris. First pitch to Harris is lined high in the air to left center. Quiggle and Myers over, and Myers makes a running catch along the warning track. Lake Erie will take the lead as Rigo hustles home to score on the sac fly, but a great catch made by Myers along the warning track to make it an out and just 1 run for Lake Erie. So it's 3-2 now, Crushers in the bottom of the fourth. Both runners will tag. Galassi to third and Isaacs Jr. to second, as Jared Watkins, the shortstop, lefty batter, to the plate. First pitch home from Vargas. He is low, 1 ball and no strikes. Arm continuing to warm in the Otters bullpen. It's John Beamer, the righty. Vargas at 85 pitches. This might be his last inning regardless. 1-0. Popped up high in the air to right field. Rosario drifting a few steps to his left under it and makes the grab for the third out. Lake Erie adds 1 more run. They've scored 1 run apiece in 3 of 4 innings today and lead 3-2 after 4 innings played on the Otters Digital Network. Top of the 5th inning from Merciel Stadium. 3-2 lead for Lake Erie over Evansville. Top of the lineup for the Otters, Noah Myers. The Edward Jones leadoff batter takes the first pitch inside from Angelo Baez. Has been a feisty offensive game by both sides. Combined 5 runs, 9 hits, and have seen 5 different 1-run innings. No big inning put up by anyone as Myers takes the ball low 2-0, but just lots of runners on base and chipping away from both sides. The 2-0 is lined up the middle, bouncing over the second base bag into center field. A leadoff single for Noah Myers. Gets a honk of approval by a truck driving by on I-90. Myers has his first hit of the day. The Otters have had a runner on base in every inning today. Brings up Kona Quiggle with 1 on and nobody out. Another lefty batter for Baez to face. Quiggle shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's a strike at the knees. Baez at 68 pitches. He struggled with his command a little bit. 2 walks, 2 hit batters. The Otters with 5 hits off of him now. Good pickoff throw by Baez back to first. Myers back in safely. Baez has not allowed more than 3 runs in any appearance this year. He's been really steady and certainly has not had his best stuff tonight, but has continued to scrap and claw as his strength's taken by Quiggle 0-2. And right now, Lake Erie has a 3-2 lead. Baez is from the Bronx. He's got to be scrappy, right? 0-2 at the belt, comes home, and Quiggle fouls it off. Baez grew up in the Bronx, played 4 years at St. Thomas Aquinas College in New York. Was a starter there with the 3.50 ERA, Division II school. Out of college, played 2 years with the New Jersey Jackals before being acquired by a trade in the offseason to join Lake Erie. 0-2. He is driven high in the air to center field. Back is Galassi at the warning track, looking up. Ball bounces off his glove in the wall. Myers hustling to third will hold there. It's a stand-up double off the glove of Galassi for Kona Quiggle, and the Otters in business in the top of the 5th inning. Galassi just couldn't reel a ball in that was hit to straightaway center off the webbing of his glove. Runners at second and third with nobody out here in the top of the 5th, and Lake Erie's going to run down and start getting a bullpen guy warm. Dakota Phillips comes to the plate. Dax 1 for 2 with an RBI base hit back in the 3rd. The Otters trail 3-2. Righty pitcher on lefty batter. First pitch to Phillips. Inside, 1-0. Myers at third. Quiggle at second with nobody out. Otters trying to retake the lead. They led for the first time in this series back in the 3rd inning. They had a brief 2-1 lead. The 1-0 on the inside corner for a strike, 1-1. Otters have played so few games this season that have been seesaw affairs, where you've had one team take the lead and the other take it back, and henceforth. But we might have one of those finally on our hands tonight. 1-1 inside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Especially if there have been seesaw affairs too, the Otters have almost always lost them. Evansville's only won 4 games all season that they've trailed in at any point during the game. Baez at the belt. Delivers home. Swing and a miss. Phillips down to one knee, chasing a ball way down in the turf. Tying runs at third. Go-ahead runs at second here in the top of the 5th. This ball game delayed by just over an hour due to rain and thunderstorms. 2-2 home. Inside, and Phillips has worked at full. Both bullpens well rested after 48 hours off with the day game on July 4th and the full day off yesterday. Both teams with 3 this weekend, but then the All-Star break, so you're not really worried about conserving guys. Payoff pitch coming to Phillips. This is a big one. Pitch home. Swing and a miss. Baez strikes out Phillips for his 3rd strikeout of the day. 1 away in the 5th. Bring up Yomar Reyes with runners still at second and third and 1 out here in the top of the 5th. Crushers leading 3-2. Reyes a solo home run back in the 2nd inning for his 3rd blast of the year. First pitch to Reyes, swing and a miss. Chase one way outside of the zone, 0-1. Yomar's 15-game hitting streak ending last Saturday, and then his 24-game on-base streak ending on Tuesday. But he started a new one here today with a home run. 0-1, outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Only Elijah McNamee last year for the Otters had a longer on-base streak. He had 32 games. Longer on-base streak in the last 2 years of Otters baseball. An impressive run by Yomar, who will be the backup 3rd baseman in the All-Star game next week. 1-1. Again, way outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Myers at third, Quiggle at second. 1 out, top of the 5th. Otters looking to retake the lead as they trail 3-2. Baez deals. Outside again, 3 balls and 1 strike. That's 3 straight pitches, all ending up in the left-handed batter's box. Well, something just mechanically went wrong on 3 straight pitches for Baez, but he missed badly on all of them. 3-1. He's fouled off by Reyes. Just got a piece of it off the top of the bat. Baez has worked another count full. Baez on the right side of the rubber. Long look in. Sets at the belt. Slightly rocking back and forth. Delivers home. High for ball 4. Reyes works a walk and the bases are loaded with 1 out. Myers at third. Quiggle at second. Reyes at first. With 1 out in the top of the 5th. The Otters trailing 3-2. And before John Dyer comes to the plate, the pitching coach, Jason Gardowski, out to have a word with Baez. Gives us the time to let you know for the first time in more than 2 decades, the Frontier League All-Star Game returns to Chicago's Southland. Come to Ozinga Field in Crestwood, home of the Windy City Thunderbolts, to see the best of the Frontier League in the skills competition and All-Star Game July 11th and 12th. Visit WCThunderbolts.com for more information. Quick meeting with Gardowski and Baez. Hasn't been many issues all week for the Lake Erie pitchers, but the Otters offense has looked much improved today after just a combined 5 hits through the first 2 games. They have 6 hits and 2 runs so far today, and John Dyer a chance to add a whole bunch more here with the bases loaded. Steps into the right-handed batter's box. Baez readies and throws. Swing and a miss. Dyer's 0 for 2 today. Grounded out to third and flew out to right. 2 hits on the year for Dyer. They both came at Joliet last weekend. 0-1. He's low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Dyer had a big RBI double against the Slammers last weekend. Making his debut the start of this road trip against Joliet. Hasn't yet played a home game. He's quickly become a key cog in the Otters lineup. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Back to the fastball for Baez. He's at 84 pitches here in the top of the 5th, trying to escape a bases loaded jam. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and two. Popped up high in the air, right side in foul territory. This ball hooking and out of play. Bouncing on top of the Otters dugout. Tying run at third. Go ahead run at second here in the top of the 5th. The Otters trailing 3-2. Evansville searching for a victory here in Avon after dropping the first 2 games of the series. Another 2-2. Swing and a miss. Dyer strikes out on the fastball. 2 away in the top of the 5th. It's not a speedy fastball. It's just 87 from Baez, but with his 4 different pitches and breaking stuff, the fastball looks a lot hotter. So it brings up Khalil now with 2 away, and the base is still loaded. First pitch to the righty is popped up high in the air to shallow center field. In is Galassi under it, and he makes the grab. The Otters strand the bases loaded in the top of the 5th. 3-2 lead for Lake Erie on the Otters Digital Network. A late night at Mercy Health Stadium and a good ball game as Lake Erie leads 3-2 here on the Otters Digital Network. John Vargas is back out to work the bottom of the 5th inning, trying to hold the lead at just 1 for Lake Erie as Kemwell Thomas Rivera leads things off for the Crushers. He took a first pitch strike, and now the 0-1 is hammered foul, 0-2. Both pitchers escaping jam after jam without a crooked number going up on the board. Just a bunch of one-run innings have the Crushers up 3-2. 0-2 from Vargas is fouled away again. Vargas allowed 1 in the 4th, but with runners on 2nd and 3rd, was able to get out of the inning and keep his day going. There's no action now in the Otters bullpen. Here's the 0-2. Strike 3 called at the knees. 1 down. If you have a group of friends or coworkers who wish to come to historic Bosse Field and enjoy an Otters home game, contact the Otters front office to reserve a party deck on the Corona Extra Patio Deck. The Corona Extra Patio Deck is one of the best places to watch the game with an all-you-can-eat menu and unlimited bottled water and soft drinks. Call 812-435-8686 for more information on how you can book your next celebration. Zach Ricusin takes a first pitch ball from Vargas with 1 out and nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. 3-2 lead for the Crushers. 1-0 is a called strike on the outside corner. 1 ball and 1 strike. Four strikeouts for Vargas this evening. 91 pitches here in the top of the 5th. Or bottom of the 5th, make it. Here's the 1-1. He is chopped off the end of the bat and foul. It's a tough spot to be in for Vargas, having to pitch the first game of the road trip on Friday, which is a early morning bus ride to Joliet. So you're on the bus for 5 hours and then have to pitch that night. The 1-2 home, chopped up the middle. Coming in is the shortstop Khalil to glove it, throw to first in time to get Ricusin 2 away. And then pitching the last game of the road trip, you're tired, you've been in a hotel for a long time, just ready to get home, and you have to pitch that game too. It's not an easy ask, but Vargas has the first 2 outs here of the 5th inning, trying to work a clean 1-2-3 half inning. We haven't seen that on either side all day. Keenan Irizarry, the third baseman, takes a first pitch inside for a ball. One to no home. Low, 2 balls and no strikes. Both teams going to have rough next 24 hours of travel with the Otters overnight bus ride back home to then play Friday evening, while slightly less far as Irizarry takes a strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Slightly less far bus ride for the Crushers, who go to Schaumburg. Just a little over 5 hours away. They play a 3-game series starting tomorrow night. Pitch inside for a strike, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Irizarry. 3-2 Crushers in the bottom of the 5th inning. Vargas looking for a 1-2-3 inning. 2-2. Just missed outside and a full count. Rain and thunderstorms delaying us. Turned into a pleasant evening. The humidity has gone away and we're in the mid-70s. Payoff pitch is swung on and popped up into shallow center, falling quickly. 1 ops in front of Myers. Khalil back, Myers in. It falls in between them. And no 1-2-3 inning. Irizarry keeps it going with his 2nd hit of the day. 1 on with 2 outs as it brings up Jackson Pritchard, the catcher. 6 hits now for Lake Erie. First pitch home. Pritchard takes a strike. 0-1. Otters have not been swept all year, trying to avoid that. And Lake Erie has not swept anyone all year. They're trying to do that. Both teams trying to Well, the 0-1 is low, 1-1. Lake Erie trying to sweep, and obviously the Otters not wanting to be swept. Evansville is one of just 2 teams in the Frontier League that has not been swept this year. Schaumburg is the other. Evansville's been so steady and so consistent, responded from adversity very well all year. 1-1 from Vargas is high and inside. Nearly hit Pritchard, 2-1. Otters have also only lost 3 games in a row once all year. That was in the middle of their first 6-game road trip against New Jersey and Quebec. 2-1 from Vargas is fouled away, 2-2. Beamer is back up and warming in the Otters bullpen again. 101 pitches now for Vargas. Two and two. Inside and a full count, it hit Pritchard. Hit him on the edge of the arm. Second batter that Vargas has hit today. 3 walks, 2 hit batters. It's tough to survive that, and that's going to be the end of Vargas's outing. Max Peterson making a call to the bullpen. Beamer coming in to try to close out the bottom of the 5th inning. A 3-2 lead for the Crushers over the Otters. We'll be right back on the Otters Digital Network. John Beamer into the ballgame with 2 on and 2 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. A 3-2 lead for the Crushers over the Otters. This call to the bullpen brought to you by the Answer Auto Repair East, where you can find all your battery needs at 2319 North Green River Road, or call at 812-475-9000. Beamer's 18th appearance of the season, 1.75 ERA in 25 2/3 innings pitched. He has 31 strikeouts to just 9 walks. Beamer's first outing of this road trip was on Sunday at Joliet. He went an inning in 2/3, allowed 3 hits, 1 walk, struck out 4, and 1 run came across in the Otters' victory. Beamer was close to getting the last out of that ball game, but could not finish it, and Polancic came in and got the save for the Otters with the final out of the inning. Final out of the game, make it. So Beamer in here in a different spot, trying to keep a Crusher lead at just 1 and find the last out in a little bit of a jam. 2 on, 2 out, and Josh Rego, the batter. Beamer on the far right side of the rubber, beige glove on his hip, comes set at just above the belt, kicks and throws. Strike on the inside corner, 0-1. Crushers have had a runner in scoring position in every inning today. They've scored in 3 of the 4. Beamer twirls, throws. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Rego. Beamer takes a big deep breath, walks around the end of the mound, picks up the rosin bag for just a moment, tosses it back on the ground and back up on the rubber. The 1-1. Low again, 2 balls and 1 strike. Beamer's been very steady all year, but he has allowed runs in 3 of his last 4 appearances. Guy who's certainly capable of going at least 2 innings here for the Otters. 2-0. On the outside corner for a strike. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 out, and a 2-2 count. Beamer throws. Popped up high in the air, down the right field line. Rosario racing over, and it bounces into the seats. Rosario nearly tumbled into the stands trying to reach over the railing. The ball bounced 3 rows up, and Rego just barely survives. The way the wind blows, I think it's right off I-90, which rumbles alongside Mercy Health Stadium. Balls that are popped up to the right side almost always seem to hook to the right. Got a great view of it as I look straight down the first base line from the broadcast booth. So another 2-2 pitch coming to Rego. Beamer fires. Swing and a miss. Nasty wipe away slider. Rego strikes out for the last out of the inning. So the Otters hold the Crushers scoreless in the bottom of the 5th. On to the 6th. Good ball game. 3-2 Lake Erie leads on the Otters Digital Network. Crushers making a call to the bullpen in the top of the 6th inning. They're holding on to a narrow 3-2 lead here in the series finale on a Thursday night from Mercy Health Stadium in Avon. Perry Bewley, the righty, into the ball game for the Crushers, making his 20th appearance of the season. 3.09 ERA and 23 1/3 innings pitched. He has 28 strikes to go with 16 walks in those 23 innings. Righty, first appearance in this series, pitched last Sunday against New York and allowed 2 hits, walked 2, 1 run, and 2 1/3 against the Boulders. Damian Yenzi, the second baseman, will lead things off for the Otters in the top of the 6th. Yenzi takes the first pitch strike on the inner third. 6 hits apiece, but the Crushers leading 3-2 through 5. 0-1, swing and a miss, 0-2. Yenzi with some heat up in the zone. Yenzi doesn't line up straight. His left foot is kind of jutted out towards his left, and then he steps in as he swings and misses at another fastball up. Yenzi down on 3 strikes, 1 away. Brings up Jake Green with 1 out here in the top of the 6th. 3-2 lead for the Crushers. The Otters with 1 in the 2nd and 1 in the 3rd today. Bewley fires. Pitch on the inside corner for a strike. 0-1. The bullpen has really been very good. Been very impressed with the Lake Erie bullpen all week. Did not allow a hit against the Otters as Green takes outside 1-1. Did not allow a hit against the Otters in their work on Monday night. And then just 2 hits allowed over the final 4 innings of work on Tuesday in the second game of the series. The 1-1 swing and a miss. 1-2. That fastball up is fooling the Otters right now. It's always a tempting pitch to swing at. The fastball up near the eyes. You're seeing it good. So here comes the 1-2. Green just fights it off to stay alive. Looks good up in the eyes, has some heat. You think it's your pitch, but ends up sailing way over your bat, and you're typically late to it. Another 1-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball by Bewley. 2 outs. Wow. Feels like almost every arm that's came out of the Crushers bullpen, their stuff has looked superb. And Bewley certainly up on that list. What a first 2 batters. 2 dominant strikeouts, making Yenzi and Green look silly. Now it's Rosario to try to turn the tide with 2 outs and nobody on. First pitch to Rosie is a strike, 0-1. Beige glove for Bewley, just above the belt delivers. Rosario swings and grounds one right side. Second baseman Thomas Rivera to glove it. Throw to first is off the bag. Rego can't keep his foot on, and Rosario's safe at first. Looked like a pretty routine 4-3 ground out, but Rosario's sprinting down the line. I think just got Thomas Rivera to rush the throw a little bit. He threw it too far to the right of the first base bag, and Rego had to lunge to try to grab the ball and couldn't keep his foot on the bag. So Rosario safe at first. Umpires now converging as Jared Lemieux, the Crushers manager, out to have a word. Kind of came out and watched the umpires converge, standing by the mound, and now he's going to talk with home plate umpire Mark Schmidt. Well, the air on Thomas Rivera in E4. Rosario aboard at first, and a dejected Lemieux walking back to the Crushers dugout, shaking his head. 1 on, 2 outs, and the Otters get the top of the order, and the Edward Jones leadoff batter, Noah Myers. Myers 1 for 3 today with a base hit back in the 5th. Lefty batter as Bewley steps off and checks over to first. Rosario back in safely. Rosie reached first back in the 3rd inning, came around to score, did not steal. The Frontier League leader in stolen bases at 32. Pitch home to Bewley. From Bewley is a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Jarius Richards, the gateway, has been steadily catching up to Rosario. Rosie's now only 2 stolen bags up over Jarius Richards, who's second for most stolen bags in the league. The 0-1. Myers swings and launches one high in the air to left, playable for Rakusin, who makes the grab. Otters strand 1, no hits in the 6th. Go to the bottom half of the inning. 3-2 Crushers on the Otters Digital Network.
All right, fans, please put your attention on the scoreboard here. We have a video scoreboard this year. It's new. We've created a couple games around that. So what we're going to do now is the hidden ball game. All right? Please pay attention. We'll have you notice where you tip the ball ends up. What we're going to do is go to a group of 3 baseball caps. Then, under the good one, we'll start with baseball. Here's the now, follow that ball, then we're going to ask the crowd to tell us where that ball ends
Greatest is getting nuisance small batch French pot ice cream that fans love since 1870. Grab a black raspberry, double chocolate chip, cookie dough, vanilla, self-stir, or any feeder. Or stop by your ice cream shop at Proctor's Park. Nothing beats Grandma's ice cream in the hots.
Bottom of the sixth inning from Mercy Health Stadium on a late night from Cleveland. 3-2 lead for the Crushers over the Otters. John Beamer back to work. His first pitch sails low for a ball to Drew Galassi, the center fielder. Number 9 batters walked twice today. Beamer got the last out of the fifth inning as Galassi swings and lines one into right field, a base hits. Number 9 batter hasn't gotten out today. He leads off the sixth with a base hit. 7 hits for the Crushers. I mean, for an offense coming in that ranked dead last in runs per game, third worst in batting average, they've just had a steady and poised series. Gotten runners on base and haven't put up runs in bunches, but made things difficult for Otters pitching as John Beamer's first pitch home and he misses low to Todd Isaacs Jr. Galassi at first with nobody out. Isaacs Jr. has certainly been the head of the snake for Lake Erie's offense. Leadoff double today, 5 hits on the series, 3 hits, 3 runs on Monday to lead the charge in front of a sellout crowd. He swings and pops one up out of play, 1-1. 3-2 lead for the Crushers here in the bottom of the sixth, 1 on and nobody out. Isaacs Jr., one of the top offensive players on the Crushers, second in batting average, second in hits, second in runs. He's got 7 stolen bases as well. 1-1 home. Isaacs Jr. shows bunt, and the ball bounces past him and off Jake Green, who's down on the ground in some serious pain. Green holding his knee. This is not good. Green back up, just hopping up to his feet, but he's in some serious pain. He got nailed in the leg by a bouncing ball that somehow skipped by the bat of Isaacs Jr. and bounced off the leg of Jake Green. Dr. Mandy, the Otters athletic trainer, out to take a look at Green, as is Andy McCauley. Hit off the left leg with Green is now limping out. Can't find many tougher kids than Jake Green. He's gonna test out the leg and be okay. Mark Schmidt giving him some extra time behind home plate. And Beamer returning to the bump. It's a 1-2 count to Isaacs Jr. 1 on and nobody out in the bottom of the sixth. Lake Erie leading 3-2. 1-2 outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Isaacs Jr. been one of the top offensive players for the Crushers. Certainly has this weekend. Interesting guy. Born in the Bahamas. It's not a typical place you find too many professional baseball players. The 2-2 is chopped by Isaacs Jr. Down the left side, barehand by Reyes, throw to first, not in time. Isaacs Jr. beats it out down the line. He skipped off the first base bag, and he now is down in a heap out in right field. My goodness. And both Dr. Mandy, the athletic trainer for the Otters, and Lake Erie's athletic trainer, Jennifer Hawker, out to check on Isaacs, who was racing down the first base line and took a hard step on the first base bag and went tumbling down into right field. Occasionally just see that. I don't know if the base is still a little bit slick at all from the rain, the heavy rain earlier today, but sometimes you just slip, you take a bad step, and really easy to roll an ankle or tweak something when you're running hard and the field's a little slick. Isaacs Jr. back to his feet. Limping slowly back towards first base. Now he's running back down the right field line. That's good to see. It's just been an eventful game tonight. Runners on base and injuries and meetings at the mound, and doesn't feel like anything's really gone smoothly for anyone. It started with Mother Nature too, with the hour delay due to rain and thunderstorms. Just not sure that Cleveland is ready for the Otters to leave yet. We've been here what feels like for decades, and after an hour rain delay, the Otters on pace right now to play by far their longest 9-inning game of the season. We're on pace for well over 3 hours with nobody out in the bottom of the 6th and over 2 hours into this ball game. So 2 on and nobody out, and Jack Harris is the batter. Great chance for the Crushers to add some insurance. Beamer comes home. Harris shows bunt, lunges at one. Can't reach it. So 0-1. Went down, by the way, as an infield base hit for Isaacs Jr. and just perfectly placed down the third base line. And not much of a chance for Reyes to make the play. 0-1 in the left-handed batter's box. Green sliding over, making a good stop. 1-1. Galassi at second. Isaacs Jr. at first with nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Jack Harris 1 for 3 today with a leadoff double in the 3rd and came around to score. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Beautiful slider by Beamer. 1-2. Beamer on the far right side of the rubber, working out of the stretch. High set as he peeks back at seconds. Delivers home. Popped up right side out of play. Galassi at second, Isaacs Jr. at first for Lake Erie. In the bottom of the 6th, they're trying to extend a 3-2 lead. Beamer delivers. Swing and a miss. Back to the slider. Harris strikes out, 1 away.
Now up to bat, number 25, Jared Watkins.
Brings up Jared Watkins, the shortstop, with 1 out and 2 on. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Watkins 0 for 3 today. Lefty batter. First pitch home. Swing and a miss by Watkins, 0-1. Isaacs Jr. and Harris have had great series. Watkins has been quiet for this series, the All-Star shortstop. Backup Abdiel Diaz in the All-Star game next Wednesday at Ozinga Field in Crestwood. The 0-1's outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. There's 3 games left after this for all the teams across the Frontier League. All-Stars will head up to Chicago, and everyone else will enjoy a few days off. And it's really into the dog days of summer as the 1-1 is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Check swing, and Watkins held up. This is game number 47 of 96, so tomorrow's game will mark the halfway point of the Otters season. 2-1 from Beamer. On the outside corner, strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. This would have been the middle game of the year for the Otters, but with last week's game against Gateway postponed to August, will now be tomorrow, game number 48 of 96. 2-2 count. Beamer comes home. It's inside. Both runners go. Throw down to second is too tall. A double steal works effectively. Green looks rather worse for wear behind home plate right now after taking one off the leg, limping around. Not at 100%. So 2 runners in scoring position, and now a full count to Watkins. Payoff home. He is lined, look out, right at the first base coach for the Crushers, and he just gets out of the way. Otters have another reliever now warming in the pen. Payoff pitch coming to Watkins. Beamer throws. Inside for ball 4. Watkins works a walk and the bases are loaded. Galassi at third. Isaacs Jr. at second. Watkins at first. And Kemwell Thomas Rivera, the righty second baseman, comes to the plate. But the Crushers a huge opportunity. Thomas Rivera just 1 for 12 on the series. First pitch home, a strike on the inside corner. Hitting .270 on the year. That's third best on Lake Erie. Beamer trying to somehow get out of this. The 0-1 on the outside corner, 0-2. Oh, and 2 is lined into left field. Right at Noah Myers. He reaches up and makes the grab. This will score Galassi from home without a throw. And the Crushers add an insurance run. It's 4-2. Ball took Myers back just a few steps. That there was no chance he was going to be able to come in and make a quick throw home. So Thomas Rivera does his job, scores a run. Makes it 4-2 Lake Erie. Isaacs Jr. stays at second. Watkins at first. 2 outs. Zach Rakusin now the batter. 4 of 6 innings. Lake Erie's plated 1 run. Rakusin takes the first pitch strike. It's just been a relentless offensive approach tonight by the Crushers. Inning after inning, putting runners on. They've had a runner in scoring position every inning today. 0-1. He is low. 1 ball and 1 strike. Certainly an offense for Lake Erie that's found a groove. Had some early series wins. Beat Sussex County, beat Quebec in series. Those are good series wins. They're looking for their first sweep of the year here over the Otters. 0-1. Swing and a miss by Rakusin, 0-2. It's interesting, Crushers have been much better at home. They're 14-15 at home, and all 6 of their series wins this year have been on home turf. They haven't won a series on the road. 1-2 from Beamer. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Beamer gets the inning-ending strikeout, but another run comes across for the Crushers. 2 hits and a sac fly. It's 4-2 Lake Erie. 6 complete on the Otters Digital Network. 3 innings left to play from Avon, Ohio. 4-2 lead for Lake Erie over Evansville. Kona Quiggle leads proceedings off in the top of the 7th for the Otters and takes a first pitch outside for a ball. Crushers 4, Otters 2 in the series finale. 1-0 home from Bewley is on the outside corner for a strike, 1-1. Bewley really impressed in the 6th inning. Quiggle swings and lines one right at the right fielder Harris, reaches off the glove and makes the catch, 1 away. Bewley got the first 2 Otters batters to strike out swinging. Rosario reached on an air, but then he got Myers to fly out for an easy 6th inning. Quickly gets a first out here in the 7th as Dakota Phillips comes to the plate. First pitch home to Phillips, inside for a ball, 1-0. Dakota with a RBI base hit back in the 3rd inning. That's the last Otters run. Solo home run by Yomar Reyes in the 2nd. RBI base hit by Phillips in the 3rd. The 1-0 is fouled away, 2-0. So just 4 combined runs by the Otters so far in this series. Got shut out on Monday, 2 runs on Tuesday, and now 2 today. The Otters don't score again, be tied for the least amount of runs in any series this year. They scored just 4 against Washington on opening weekend as the 1-1 misses outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Briefly held a lead, 2-1, but Lake Erie quickly erased it with a run of their own in the 4th before, or a run of their own in the 3rd before a run in the 4th took the lead and a run in the 6th extended it. 2-1 home from Bewley is lined high in the air down the left field line and well foul, 2-2. Long day at the ballpark with over an hour rain and thunderstorm delay. Here's the 2-2. It's way over the head of Pritchard and all the way back to the backstop, a full count. Nearly 10:30 Eastern time here in Avon. Still a good crop of fans sticking around and taking in the action. It's well past the youth baseball team's bedtime, but they're still here watching the Crushers. Payoff pitch. Outside for ball 4. Phillips works a walk. Dak is aboard. 1 on with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Yomar Reyes comes to the plate. Reyes has not been retired today. The 351-foot blast to left field in the 2nd. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd and walked in the 5th. And out comes pitching coach Jason Gardowski to have a quick word with Bewley. And with that meeting as well, movement around in the Crushers bullpen, and they're going to start getting someone loose in a moment. Either starter, Vargas or Baez, had their best stuff today. Both bats made things difficult, but no crooked numbers today. It's just all been 1-run innings on both sides. That's why we have a close game, though we've had a lot of busy innings. And that's also why this game has taken such a long time. Nearly 2 hours and 20 minutes, still just in the top of the 7th. A pitch clock era, this is taking a marathon. So Reyes stands into the box. First pitch from Bewley, a strike right down the middle. Yomar had 2 hits on Monday. Didn't reach on Tuesday. Looking for more here on Thursday. The 0-1 is hacked away foul. Otters trailing here in the 7th. They have not won a game when trailing in the last 3 innings of any game this season. Something that really feels like it has to change at some point for Evansville. The 0-2 is swung on and chopped up the middle, could be 2. Glove by the second baseman, Thomas Rivera, steps on the second base bag, throws to first in time for the double play. 4-3, tailor-made double play. Ends the 7th. Will stretch at Mercy Health Stadium. 4-2 lead for the Crushers over the Otters on the Otters Digital Network.
It's time for you to stand up and stretch it out. Come on, everybody stand up, stretch it out. Right? Now, you're taking a deep breath. And exhale. Yeah, you feel so much better, don't you? All right, going along with you. Help me out in the ball game. Hit it. Sway. It always works better with a sway. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. So let's root for the Crushers. If they don't win, it's a shame. 'Cause it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're up at the old ball game. And as always, let's go Crushers and bring home a win.
Fans, the 7th-inning stretch started at 10:20, making Ron Gideon the winner of this stretch. Please report the fan services area to claim your prize.
Stretch complete for a final time this week at Mercy Health Stadium, and the Otters hoping for a comeback. They trail 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Keenan Irizarry, the third baseman, leads things off for the Crushers against James Crick, the new man out of the bullpen for the Otters. Big righty fires home. Irizarry takes the first pitch strike. Crick, 16 appearances on the season, 23 innings pitched, a 3.13 ERA, 21 strikeouts to 17 walks. 0-1. He's popped up behind home plate. Look out, it's right over my head and bouncing off the top of the roof. Crick last pitched on Friday against Joliet, an inning in 2/3, allowed 1 run on 3 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. The 0-2 popped up high in the air to center field. Quiggle drifting a few steps over to his right under it. It makes the grab, 1 away. For landscape design that is truly unique, look to locally owned Wild Horticulture. Whether you need a team to design and construct a large-scale landscape project for your business, or are looking to create an epic backyard retreat complete with plants, water, and light installation, the experienced team at Wild can take your ideas to the next level. Crick to face the ready Jackson Pritchard with 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. 4-2 lead for Lake Erie. Pritchard takes the first pitch outside, 1-0. You've likely seen Wild's creative work all over town. Wild Horticulture has the skills and resources to deliver inspiring spaces and bring your ideas to life. Have a project in mind? Find them on Instagram at wildspaces.org. Sales low. That's wildspaces.com. As Pritchard ahead now 2-0. Base is empty with 1 out on the bottom of the 7th. Crick delivers on the inside corner for a strike, 2-1. Nearly 10:30 local time here at Mercy Health Stadium. It's the latest at night the Otters have played any game. 2-1. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes. Pritchard couldn't hold up. 2-2. Otters with just 2 innings left to play with to avoid a sweep tonight. 2-2. Outside and a full count. Otters were swept just 3 times all of last year, but one of those was here in Avon. The first time the Otters made the trip here against Lake Erie, they were swept in June 2022. Payoff. He is fouled off the end of the at-bat. Otters were swept 3 times last year. At Lake Erie, at Washington, and at Joliet. Have avoided that so far this year. They've really been excellent on the road. Otters 10-10 on the road. Payoff from Crick. Low for ball 4. Pritchard works a walk. You've still not had an inning on either side where team has gone down in order. Just not been that kind of night, which is odd because it felt like for the first 2 games, both games finished in around 2 hours and 20 minutes, that just had innings that breeze by, pitchers dominating, while it's still just 4-2. This has been just hitters battling and fighting, fouling pitches off, working walks on both sides. This game going on and on and on. Otters are still in it, 1 on and 1 out as Josh Rego's the batter. Crick delivers, Rego takes low, 1-0. Green will throw back to first, and Pritchard dives in safely under the tag. Otters have walked 4 times and been hit twice. Lake Erie's walked 5 times, and they've been hit a couple times as well. 1-0 on the outside corner, 1 ball and 1 strike. Crick delivers. Bouncing in the dirt. Green, good stop. 2 balls and 1 strike. This being the last game of the late game, as we mentioned. It's the last game of the night now in the Frontier League, and it gives us a chance to check the WJPS 107.1 Frontier League scoreboard. You can tune in to WJPS Monday through Friday morning for the Otters Daily Update. Just 5 games across the Frontier League today. Crick steps off and throws back to first. Back in is Pritchard. Otters' next opponent, Windy City, falling to Washington today in Pennsylvania 5-3. The Thunderbolts can't win the rubber match against the Wild Things. 2-1, swing and a miss, 2-2. And with that loss by Windy City as well for the Crushers, if Lake Erie wins tonight, they are tied for 4th in the Frontier League West after starting the week dead last in the Frontier League West. They moved from 8th to 4th. Crazy. 2-2 is high for ball 3, and Rego works a full count. Windy City had been hot, too. They had coming off a sweep of Florence last weekend. They had won a couple series in a row, but fall on the road to Washington. So they're also overnight busing to Bosse Field. The Otters will meet them there tomorrow. Payoff home from Crick is fouled away. Only other score in the Frontier League West today, Schaumburg completed the sweep of Joliet 5-1. The Slammers have now lost 5 in a row. They are struggling, and Boomers keeping pace with the red-hot Grizzlies above them. Both the Boomers and the Grizzlies sweeping their series this week. Another pickoff throw back to first, and Pritchard again back under the throw. No disengagements left for Crick now. Payoff home. Swing and a miss. Fastball up. Rego strikes out for the first German-American bank strikeout for James Crick. There's 2 away. So Schaumburg beating Joliet 5-1. Boomers came from behind, walked off Joliet on Monday night. Tuesday night, the Boomers set a franchise record. They had their biggest crowd in team history. What an atmosphere put up at Wintrust Field over the last few years by the Boomers. First pitch to Drew Galassi's inside. Good throw down to first by Green, and Pritchard just dives in safely under the tag. $7,893 fans on Tuesday night at Wintrust Field. Team record in 13 years of Boomers baseball as Galassi swings and misses 0-1. And Schaumburg played a day game today and concluded the sweep of Joliet, their Chicago West suburbs rival. 1-1 to Galassi. He's in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike. Tri-City stayed hot. Took down Empire State 7-3 to win that series. And Quebec beat up Trois-Rivières this evening, 18-6 in the battle for Quebec. They win the rubber match of that series over the Eagles. 2-1. Popped up behind home plate, out of play. That's your Frontier League scoreboard tonight, again brought to you by WJPS. Full slate of Frontier League games back on tomorrow, and the final series for everyone before the All-Star break. Everyone's reaching the next couple days, the halfway point of their season. Crick steps off, and just walking back to first that time is Pritchard. He's certainly got the attention of Crick. James just needs the last strike here of the seventh. The Otters trail by 2. 2-2. Just missed and a full count. Lake Erie has scored in 4 of 6 innings today. 1 run apiece, 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the sixth. They've had a runner in scoring position in every inning. But they haven't had one yet here in the 7th. Payoff from Crick. Runner goes, popped up, out of play. Otters will have the bottom half of the lineup coming up in the 8th as they try to come from behind, trailing 4-2. Payoff home is driven foul down the first base line. Six-game road trip for the Otters. A win today would make it another 3-3 road trip. You only have so many 6-game road trips. They're challenging, and if you go 500 in them, you typically can't be too unhappy with that. Payoff again. Popped up, out of play. Bounces into the second row of the seats behind home plate. It's running into a never-ending battle here between Galassi and Crick. 6-game road trip for the Otters, just their second of the season, all the way back to their first road trip of the year back in May. Played New Jersey and Quebec for 6. Otters will have 3 more 6-game road trips the rest of the way. One more this month. That also includes Lake Erie at the end of July. The third payoff. Swing and a miss. Crick finally wins the battle with Galassi, and the inning ends. Crick works a scoreless bottom of the 7th. We go to the 8th. Do the Otters have a comeback in them? They trail 4-2 here in Lake Erie on the Otters Digital Network. Braden Bonner into the ball game for the Crushers in the top of the 8th inning as the Otters searching for a comeback victory to salvage a win here from Mercy Health Stadium. Evansville trails 4-2 as we go to the top of the 8th inning. Otters will face the big righty Bonner from Utah for the third straight game. Bonner has been excellent. 2 innings pitched combined through the 2 games against the Otters, and has not allowed a base runner. He actually was with the Otters for 4 games last year in the back half of the year. Big righty comes home. A first pitch strike is into John Dyer. Otters trail 4-2 here in the top of the 8th inning. Evansville hasn't scored since the 3rd. Bonner on the far right side of the rubber at the belt. Lines and throws. Outside, 1-1 to Dyer. Bonner 4 appearances last year for the Otters. Went 4 and a third total and allowed 4 runs. Picked up by Lake Erie to start this year. He started his Frontier League career with Windy City. 1-1. Slider outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. This lights out Lake Erie bullpen. Otters have not been able to solve it. 2-1 delivery is fouled away by Dyer. 2-2. Otters 2 runs on 6 hits tonight. Still just a 4 combined runs over this series. Bonner deals outside, and Dyer's worked it full. John's 0 for 3 today. He's had a quiet series, 0 for 10 in total. Payoff home is swung on and lined over the head of the second baseman into right field. Dyer has his first hit of the series, and in Dyer's straights for the Otters, he comes through in the lead off the top of the 8th. First base runner the Otters have gotten off Bonner after he pitched 2 perfect innings the first 2 games of this series. Brings up George Khalil with a runner at first and nobody out on the top of the 8th. The Otters trail 4-2. Righty on righty matchup. Bonner delivers a strike to Khalil. The Australians 1 for 3 today. A base hit back in the 2nd inning. George with 2 hits on the series. 0-1. Swung on and grounded left side. Gloved by the third baseman Irizarry. Throws to second to 1 to first. Not in time. Khalil runs it out. That would have been a big punch to the stomach for the Otters if it was another double play after the Otters' 7th ended on a double play. But Khalil hustles it out down. Going to use him here in a big spot in the top of the 8th. They're going to bring Aaron Beck off the bench. The Evansville native and lefty leads the Otters with a .304 batting average. Got off to the red-hot start to the Otters season, but has not had the best road trip. Doesn't have a hit since Friday. 0 for 7 in the series. Looking for a big one here. Lefty batter face the righty Bonner. Bonner steps off and throws back to first. Khalil steps back on the back. 14 hits in 11 starts this year for Beck. This is his 3rd time coming off the bench. He's certainly used to this. Bonner on the right side of the rubber. Black belt just below the waist. Comes home on the inside corner, called a strike. 0-1 to Beck. Green is on deck for the Otters. 1 out, top of the 8th. Evansville trailing 4-2. A 1. Swung on and lined hard down the left field line, but hooking foul. All the way up into the concourse. Bonner earned the save for the Crushers in the 4-2 victory on Tuesday. We have the same score here today. Bonner functioning as the setup man, and imagine we'd likely see Curtis, the typical closer, in the 9th. 0-2 is poked foul. Beck just stays alive. Otters offense has done next to nothing this whole week here in Avon, but they have still 5 outs to work with to salvage a victory and finish a road trip at 500, and it'd be a much easier overnight bus ride back home. 0-2 is chopped foul again by Beck. Otters could just really use a victory too right now. Just help raise the spirits for the team for an important last series against Windy City as the Otters try to just keep their heads level behind Gateway and Schaumburg in the standings. Another 0-2. High, but 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gateway and Schaumburg sweeping their 2 series this week. The Otters dropping their first 2. They fall into 4 back in the standings. A win tonight would help them just tread water and stay within striking range of the top 2 teams right now in the Frontier League West. 1-2 to Beck. Swing and a miss. Ball down in the turf, strikes out Beck, and there's 2 away. With 2 down, it brings up Jake Green. John Dyer got the leadoff base hit. Khalil replaced him on a fielder's choice. Green the last chance here in the top of the 8th. The Otters still trailing 4-2. Bonner winds, delivers. A strike on the inside corner. Bonner working out of the stretch. Black glove up near the chest. Now sets just below the belt. Peeks over at first at Khalil, who's got a 3-stride lead. And the 0-1 is swung on and lined into right field. It's down for a base hit. 1 ops in front of Harris. A 2-out knock for Jake Green, and the Otters have life in the 8th. That's just Jake Green's style. Doesn't do too much with it. Finds a way to get on base in big moments. 2 on with 2 out, and a huge spot for Brian Rosario. Tying run at first. Rosario the go-ahead run at the plate, and at the last moment, Jason Gardowski back out to have a word with Bonner. And Darian Reagans, who the Otters have also seen twice this week already. The lefty is starting to throw now in the Crushers bullpen. Rosario coming to the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. Led off with a base hit in the 3rd and came around to score. Rosie's had a good stretch of offense of late. Hits in 5 of his last 7. Be a lefty batter, switch hitter, batting lefty to face the righty Bonners. Back on the bump, and Gardowski back to the Crushers dugout. Dyer at second. Green the tying run at first with 2 outs in the top of the 8th, and the Otters trailing 4-2. Bonner throws. Just misses outside, 1-0. High drama deep into the night here in Avon, Ohio. 1-0. On the inside corner for a strike. 1 ball and 1 strike to Rosario. Bonner comes home. Swing and a miss. Fastball down in the turf. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Rosario. Bonner is a strike away from escaping another jam for the Crushers. It's the 4th inning. The Otters have a runner in scoring position, but have just 2 runs to show for. 1-2 home. Just outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rosario bat waggling as he waits in the left-handed batter's box. Here comes the 2-2. It's low, and he's worked it full. Top of the order, and Noah Myers is on deck for Evansville. Reagan's the lefty continuing to throw in the Crushers bullpen. Reagan's has been great against the Otters this week as well. Payoff coming from Bonner. Here it is. Inside for ball 4. Rosario works a walk, and the bases are loaded for Noah Myers. Gutsy walk worked by Brian Rosario. And what a spot now for Noah Myers. 2 outs, bases loaded, top of the 8th. The Otters trailing by 2. The tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first. Khalil at third, Green at second, Rosario at first, and that's going to do it for Bonner. Jared Lemieux coming on out from the Crushers dugout, and Darian Reagan's, the lefty, is going to come on in to face the lefty Noah Myers. Makes sense with 3 straight lefties coming up for the Otters. The lefty coming in, Bonner the righty coming out. What a moment coming up next. The Otters all-star outfielder facing the flame-throwing lefty with the bases loaded in the top of the 8th. We'll be right back on the Otters Digital Network. Back on the shores of Lake Erie. What a moment in the top of the 8th inning. The Otters trail 4-2, but they have the bases loaded with 2 outs. And the leadoff batter, Noah Myers, coming to the plate. Darian Reagan's, the lefty flamethrower, into the ball game for the Crushers. Reagan's his 3rd time pitching this week. He's been excellent against the Otters so far. 2 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed just 1 base runner, a walk, struck out 3, no hits, no runs from Reagan's. 1.61 ERA overall in 28 innings pitched, and he can strike guys out a lot. 34 strikeouts on the season. He's going to face the fellow lefty batter in Noah Myers. Otters leadoff batter, 1 for 4 today, a base hit back in the 5th. Tying runs at second, go-ahead runs at first. Otters trying to come from behind and salvage a win today. Reagan's is ready on the left side of the rubber. He delivers. Myers swings and misses. Reagan's, I should say, working out of the stretch. Black glove sets just above the black belt. He delivers. Swing and a miss again. Back-to-back big fastballs. Oh, and 2 is a ground ball right side. Gloved by the second baseman, Thomas Rivera. Wide throw is away from the first baseman. It rolls all the way to the backstop. Green's going to hustle around from third. The throw's wide of the catcher and bounces back to the dugout. The Otters have tied it at 4 on a throwing error from the second baseman, Thomas Rivera. Can you believe it? At 11 o'clock at night in Cleveland. A typical 4-3 ground out appeared to be another gut punch to the Otters offense this week, but Thomas Rivera threw it to the right of Rego, and it bounced all the way back to the fence down the right field line. Khalil scored from third, and Green saw it bounce by and kept on going, scoring all the way from second base to tie it at 4. Now runners at second and third. First pitch to Kona Quiggle is high and tight. Oh my goodness. We are tied at 4, 2 unearned runs here in the top of the 8th inning. 1-0. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Not a good throw either down the first base line when it was finally picked up. It was wide of the catcher Pritchard, but it's not a very deep backstop, so Rosario at third stood there. He's the go-ahead run. 2-0. Inside, 3 balls and no strikes. Rosario's at third, and Myers went to second on the air. .3-0 home on the lower third for a strike, 3-1. Otters have tied it at 4 here on the top of the 8th inning. Rosario dancing at third as the 3-1, swing and a miss by Quiggle. Getting started with a base hit by Dyer. Khalil grounded into a fielder's choice to advance to first. Beck struck out. Green had a base hit. Rosario worked a walk to bring in Reagans. And then the E4 on the ground ball by Myers scores 2 to tie it. Here's the payoff. It bounces low and in the turf. Ball 4, and it loads the bases again. Quiggle works a walk. Dakota Phillips comes to the plate with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Trying to give the Otters the lead in the top of the 8th inning, and Evansville trying to somehow, some way, get a victory here in Avon and work a 3-3 road trip. Rosario at third, Myers at second, Quiggle at first. Lefty Phillips is ready. First pitch, swing and a miss. Dak is 1 for 3 today. Base hit back in the third, worked a walk in the 7th. Reagan's facing his 3rd straight lefty at the top of this Otters order. Big throw back, comes home, swing and a miss. 0-2. Reagan's readies and throws. Inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Nearly 11 o'clock at night here at Mercy Health Stadium in Avon. We are approaching 3 hours in what will almost certainly be the longest 9-inning game of the season for the Otters. 1-2. He is chopped foul down the right field line. Otters have tied things at 4 with 2 across here in the top of the 8th inning. Evansville's got Kevin Davis now warming in the bullpen, the setup man. Everyone's rested and ready to go in the Otters bullpen. 1-2. Inside, it nearly hit Phillips. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It probably wouldn't get to this, but Frontier League curfew is midnight, so you're not allowed to start a new inning after midnight. Takes some true craziness, though, for that to get into effect. 2-2. Is swung on and hit high in the air to left center. Over is Racusin. He's under it and makes the grab. The inning ends, but the Otters have tied it. A throwing error from the second baseman, Thomas Rivera, with the bases loaded, scores 2 and ties us at 4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Don't go anywhere on the Otters Digital Network. Bottom of the 8th inning we go from Mercy Hill Stadium in Avon, Ohio. What a wild game tonight. We're all tied at 4 between Lake Erie and Evansville. 2 runs in the top of the 8th inning, scoring for the Otters on a throwing error by the second baseman for Lake Erie, all with 2 outs and the bases loaded. It was off the bat of Noah Myers. Wide throw by the second baseman, Thomas Rivera. Bounced all the way back to the backstop down the right field line to tie things up. Kevin Davis now in the bottom of the 8th inning. He will face the top of the lineup, Todd Isaacs Jr. for Lake Erie. First pitch to the righty, misses inside for a ball, 1-0. Davis, 18 appearances on this season, 2.75 ERA and 19 2/3. Big strikeout guy with 27 Ks. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Davis looked amped up on that pitch, 94 miles per hour. Kevin has been terrific lately. High set from the 6'9" righty, comes home, swung on and grounded up the middle, bouncing over the second base bag into center field. Isaacs Jr. leads off with a base hit. This kid is something else. His 3rd hit of the day. His 7th hit of the series. Has been impossible to get out for the Otters. So leadoff runner aboard, Isaacs Jr. with good speed, 7 stolen bases of the go-ahead run as Jack Harris comes to the plate. Davis has first pitch home to Isaacs Jr.'s a strike. Davis got 2 outs for the Otters without allowing a base runner back on Tuesday in his only appearance of this series. 0-1 home. On the outside corner for a strike, 0-2. Isaacs Jr., the go-ahead run at first with nobody out of the bottom of the 8th, all tied at 4 as we've crossed 11 o'clock here in Cleveland. The 0-2 misses outside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Approaching 3 hours in game time. We were scheduled to start at 7:05 Eastern, but rain and thunderstorms delayed us by just over an hour. 1-2. Swung on and grounded. Left side, Taylor made double play ball. Khalil to Sayer to first. Bounces off the glove of Dyer. And Otters get it out, but it'll go down as a fielder's choice. Everything going on. Otters making a fielding change here in the bottom of the 8th inning as Beck pinch hit for Yenzi. So Sayer takes Yenzi's spot at second base with Dyer still at first. First pitch to Jared Watkins, lefty. Shortstop is fouled away. Sayer at second, Dyer still at first. Throw just cannot be dug off the turf by Dyer. 0-1 to Watkins. On the inside corner for a strike, 0-2. Oh, and 2 home is a check swing off the end of the bat. Watkins stays alive. 1 out, Harris at first, bottom of the 8th, all tied at 4. Leone De La Cruz, the lefty, is warming in the Otters bullpen. Looks like Reagans is staying in the game for Lake Erie. Their pen is quiet. 0-2. Just missed inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Otters have really struggled in close games all year long. But boy, do they need a victory today. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Fastball up from Kevin Davis. 2 away. 94.7 miles per hour from Kevin Davis. He's throwing with some heat combined with some serious habanero. Kemuel Thomas Rivera up to the plate with 1 on and 2 out. First pitch to the second baseman, swing and a miss. 2 errors today by Thomas Rivera. The second one could possibly cost Lake Erie the game, but he's got a chance to make up for it here. 0-1 to the righty. Fouled away, 0-2. Otters in the ninth will have Reyes, Dyer, and Khalil to the plates. 4, 5, and 6. 0-2, runner goes, pitches low, Green throw down to second, skips by Sayer and into center field. Taking off to third is the runner, the throw to Reyes, he is safe. Reyes can't believe the call, pointing to Clifton Glidewell and saying, I had the ball in my glove, I tagged him. What more do I need to do? Harris, good jump to second, easily safe. Ball skipped by Sayer. Harris hesitated as he turned behind to see where the ball was and then decided to take off. Looked like he was going to be out by a mile. And somehow, apparently, slunk under the tag of Reyes. I don't know how. Wow. What a call that is. Harris is at third, 90 feet away, a 1-2 count to Thomas Rivera. Go ahead, run 90 feet away. Davis trying to get the last strike of the eighth. A 1-2. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. .95 miles per hour from Kevin Davis. 2-2. Skips by Green, bounces off the backstop. Green picks it up, bobbles it. Sliding in safely is Harris, and the Crushers take the lead 5-4. You almost saw it coming. Payoff from Davis is foul tipped off the end of the bat. Leadoff base hit by Isaacs Jr. Otters just couldn't turn the double play. Harris to first. Watkins struck out, stole second. And then the throw past Sayer into center field. Harris gets down to third somehow by the tag as pitch misses low to Thomas Rivera. He works a walk. Brings Harris all the way to 90 feet away. The last thing he could have was a pass ball or a wild pitch. That's exactly what happened to score Harris and give the Crushers the lead. And now Max Peterson out to have a word with Davis. Peterson will take the ball from Kevin Davis. Leone de la Cruz coming into the game for the Otters, looking for the last out of the bottom of the eighth. Lake Erie is taking back the lead, 5-4 on the Otters Digital Network. Welcome back to Mercy Health Stadium. What a wild seesaw crazy ball game tonight. Delayed by rain and lightning back and forth. Otters tied it with 2 in the top of the 8th, but the go-ahead run scoring for Lake Erie on a wild pitch, giving the Crushers the lead back 5-4. Leone de la Cruz into the ball game for the Otters with a runner at first and 2 outs. De La Cruz, the lefty for the Otters, 20 innings pitched. This is 19th appearance of the season, 1.80 ERA. Did not have his best stuff on the 4th of July against these Crushers. Allowed 2 hits, 1 run in 1 inning pitched, and 1 strikeout. He'll face Sean Chile with 1 on and 2 outs, just looking for the last out of the 8th. Keep the lead at 1 and give the Otters a chance for a comeback in the top of the 9th. Leone fires. Chile takes the first pitch strike. Chile pinch hitting here for Zach Racusin. A 1 home. It sails high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Across the 3-hour mark of baseball tonight. This is the longest 9-inning game of the season for the Otters. Of course it would be tonight. 1-1. He is low. 2 balls and 1 strike. Of course, the longest game of the year would be right before the Otters have one of their longest bus rides and then having to play a game that day. If that makes any sense. 2-1. Chile takes high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Otters will get on a bus whenever this game finishes and have a 7-hour bus ride back to Evansville. We'll get in somewhere around breakfast time, or maybe after breakfast time at this rate. And the Otters open up a 3-game series against Windy City at 6:35 Central Time tomorrow. De La Cruz steps off to reset himself. Behind 3-1 here to Chile. Otters just need the last out here of the 8th. They trail 5-4. 3-1. On the inside corner for a strike and a full count. An error by Lake Erie gave the Otters 2 runs in the top of the 8th, but just a heartbreaking way for Lake Erie to retake the lead on a variety of strange circumstances. Payoff, swing and a miss. Chile strikes out, and that ends the inning. Do the Otters have a little more magic in them on this crazy night from Mercy Health Stadium? We go to the 9th. 5-4 Crushers lead. The Otters have Reyes, Dyer, Khalil coming up. We'll be right back on the Otters Digital Network.
Kids, it's almost time to run the bases.
You can begin lining up now on the first base concourse. Parents must sign a waiver for your child to run the bases. Please go to the field services located on the third base side and fill out a waiver for your child and to receive a wristband before lining up. Kids Club members, please show your Kids Club passes and jump to the front of the line for kids.
Run the bases.
A late night here in Avon, Ohio, just outside of Cleveland, has turned wacky and weird. A 5-4 lead for the Crushers as we go to the top of the 9th. Is there any more weird left in this ball game after 3 hours of craziness? I don't know. 5-4 lead for the Crushers over the Otters. Darian Reagans, who found the last out eventually of the top of the 8th inning, will try to retire the Otters and give Lake Erie their first sweep of the season. Reagans came in with the bases loaded. A throwing error by the second baseman allowed the 2 tying runs to score for the Otters to tie the game at 4. Reagans walked Quiggle, and they got Phillips to fly out to end things. He's going to face Yomar Reyes, John Dyer, George Khalil here in the 9th. Just the second save opportunity here for Reagans. He's 1 for 1 on the season in save opportunities. Lefty pitcher to face the righty Reyes, who's taking all the way. A first pitch strike. Crushers scoring 1 on a wild pitch in the bottom of the 5th inning. They just had 1 hit in the inning, but it was enough to take the lead. A 1. Swing and a miss, 0-2. Reyes quickly in a hole. He's 1 for 2 today, a solo home run in the seconds. Reagans winds and throws. Reyes fights it off and fouls it down the right field line. Otters trying to avoid being swept for the first time this season. Lake Erie going for their first sweep of the year and trying to remain hot. A win moves them up to tied for 4th in the Frontier League West. The 0-2. Chopped up the middle, over the head of Reagans, charging in. Thomas Rivera, throw to first is in time, 1 away. Not sure that's the guy that the Crushers were hoping the ball would find in the 9th after 2 throwing errors by the second baseman. But he makes a clean play there, and the Crushers need 2 more. Brings up John Dyer with 1 out of the bases empty. The Otters trailing 5-4 in the top of the 9th. Dyer 1 for 4 today. Takes the first pitch, strike right down the middle. Base hit back in the 8th, the first hit of the series for Dyer. Higgins gets a new baseball and reset of the pitch clock. Reagans throws. Dyer pops it up right side in foul territory. First baseman Rega racing over, but it bounces into the seats. Khalil is on deck for the Otters. He's 1 for 3. Reagans at the belt. Twirls home. It's way outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Dyer. One and 2. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball from Reagans. Dyer strikes out. 2 away, and the Otters down to their last out late on this Thursday night. George Khalil, the last chance for the Otters. 1 for 4, base hit back in the second inning. Reached on an air in the 8th. Or reached on a fielder's choice, I should say, in the 8th. Righty batter to face the lefty pitcher. The pitch, swing and a miss. Oh and 1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Reagans stretching in even though there's no one on. Black glove sets just above the black belt. Rocking back and forth, winds home. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike. Daniel Sayer is on deck for the Otters if Khalil reaches. Two and 1. Swing and a miss. The Crushers a strike away from their first sweep. The 2 and 2. Fouled away by Khalil. Yenzi throws. Outside corner, strike 3 called. The Crushers sweep the Otters with a wild 5-4 victory. Saw just about everything tonight on a late night here in Avon. Longest game of the Otters season, the latest by far into the night of an Otters game. It took over 3 hours and 10 minutes, 11:20 local time after an hour rain delay to start the game. The Otters are swept for the first time this season, and the Crushers get their first sweep of the year at the hands of the Otters. Final score, Lake Erie 5, Evansville 4. We'll recap the 8th for you, as that's where things felt like they turned truly batty. And there was a bunch of one-run innings early in the game. Lake Erie scored one in the first. Otters took a brief lead with one in the second, one in the third. Lake Erie tied the game with one in the third, took the lead with one in the fourth, extended the lead with one in the sixth. The 8th inning got really weird, though, as the Otters trying to mount their first comeback from behind in the last 3 innings or later to win. Tied the game in the 8th. Dyer led off with a base hit. Fielder's choice got Khalil on to first. Green had a base hit. Rosario walked to load the bases. And then Noah Myers grounded one to the second baseman, Thomas Rivera. He threw it away past the first baseman all the way back to the backstop down the right field line. It tied the game. Quiggle walked to load it, give the Otters a great chance to take the lead, but Phillips flew out. And then the bottom of the 8th inning was a strike away from seemingly a pretty routine bottom of the 8th, and we'd go to the 9th tied. Todd Isaacs led off with a base hit. Harris grounded into a fielder's choice. It was nearly a double play. Dyer couldn't scoop it off the turf, so 1 out. Davis got a strikeout for the second out of the inning, but Harris then stole down to second. Green's throw got by Daniel Sayer into center field. Harris hesitated as he went down to third base, and it looked like he was going to be thrown out by a mile from Quiggle in center field. Somehow slid under the tag by Reyes, who couldn't believe that he was called safe. Davis then threw a wild pitch back to the backstop. Harris scored for what ended up being the game-winning run as the Otters go down in order in the top of the 9th inning. 5 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors for Lake Erie, 4 runs on 8 hits, 1 error for Evansville. Kevin Davis will take the loss for the Otters, and the win will go to Darian Reagans, as well as the save tonight for the Crushers. Otters offense did get 4 runs, though just 2 earned tonight. It was just not a good offensive week for the Otters here in Avon. Just total 4 combined runs, 4 earned runs, 6 combined runs in total. And the Otters swept for the first time this season, and just the second time this year Evansville has dropped 3 games in a row. So 6-4 again the final. The Otters fall to 26-21 on the year, and now 4.5 back of first place Gateway in the Frontier League West. Lake Erie, first sweep of the year. They're 21-27. They started the week, Monday morning, woke up dead last place, 8th in the Frontier League West. How things have shifted the last few days. They're now tied for 4th with Windy City in the Frontier League West. The standings are jammed in the back half of the Frontier League West. These teams will see each other pretty soon. They're going to face off 2 more times in July. The Otters will look for some revenge just 2 weeks back at Bosse Field. These teams will play again. Evansville's got a long bus ride back home and a quick turnaround as they'll play tomorrow evening against Windy City, 6:35 Central Time. First pitch from Bosse Field. We hope you join us at the ballpark. It's Old National Employee Appreciation Night. Saturday night's going to be a blast jersey auction as the Otters will be wearing a League of Their Own jerseys. And Sunday wraps up the homestand with a Dog Days of Summer at 5 o'clock. If you can't join us, we're back here on the Otters Digital Network, myself and Lucas Donhauer, and also on Flow Sports, of course, as well. I want to give a big thanks to everyone in Lake Erie this week. Had a blast here. An excellent job by our production team. Joey Beardsley, our director, our Flow Sports producers back in Houston, led by Pascal Pryor, and our entire excellent Crushers production team. Thanks so much for having me here at Mercy Health Stadium. Looking forward to being back here in a few weeks. I've been Griffin Epstein as Lake Erie completes the sweep of the Otters. A wild back and forth victory tonight for the Crushers. The final score, again, Lake Erie 5, Evansville 4. Have a great rest of your Thursday night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow night back from Bosse Field. Looking forward to getting back home. For now, though, good night from Ohio.